Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recon. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Joggle beat. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today is going to be absolutely amazing, guys. We have Ethereum hitting $4,000. Yes, it dipped back. There's a lot of sell pressure above that 4,000, but it pushed back. And why is Ethereum so important? I say it every single day. The main reason is Ethereum is that new leading indicator for crypto, right? Bitcoin has become something that is just too big. It's different than crypto. It's Bitcoin and then crypto. Bitcoin is now the Dow Jones. It's now the S&P 500. It is now gold, right? Different risk on, different risk off effects with that. But Ethereum, that is our leading indicator, because as it goes up, as it gets closer to that 48, we're going to get numbers that we should be at. I feel like a lot of crypto is undervalued, and the next coming months, we're going to get back to our value point and then triple that, right? That's what crypto does every 4 years. We're going to get to the 100Xs, the 1000Xs. That is all coming. You have to be patient enough, though, to be there. You can't be selling early. You can't be buying late, right? You need to be prepared now for when things happen later, right? It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Dollar cost averaging the whole way up. Even if you're not fully packed right now, even if you don't have enough right now, a DCA effect going into the latter part of this year, early next year, will set you up for success. We just got to know when to take profits. My profit-taking month is sell in May and go away. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Next June, I'm taking the whole month off. Going to hire someone for OnChain Revolution. No, I'm just kidding. But it's going to be really exciting, guys. It's going to be really, really fun to get to that point. We're still 9 to 10 months away from that, right? So got to get in now. Got to get excited. And I think Bitcoin runes is that #1 area that's going to make you the most money. And we saw Magic Internet Money yesterday. Magic Internet Money yesterday did an insane 60-70% in an hour after Coinbase posted something and Elon reposted it. And it was just the wizard from 2013, right? It's all it was, and it jacked up. You're going to see a lot of that coming because Bitcoin has a lot of lore and a lot of history that makes the meme coins just better. Just makes them better. Just makes them better, right? So I'm really excited for today. Really excited for this. My last day of vacation. I know I've been on the show all week because I love doing this, but I'm in, I'm in Jersey. I'm headed back to Philly tomorrow. Really excited to get back at my desk and start grinding for you guys. Start grinding information. Start grinding cool stuff. I will be going live this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be talking about our potential meme coin, maybe some stuff in there as well, but really going to cover the weekly close. So I think 8 o'clock on a Sunday night is some of the most important time of the week because it really shows what's going to happen for the upcoming week, upcoming couple days as well. So really excited for that. So without further ado, let's get today's show started. Bring my partner here as always. There you go. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, bro? I'm hyped. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling great. Ethereum is, tagged that $4,000 mark. That, got a lot of excitement going. I don't know what's going on with the abstract, but I think we're streaming live from abstract as well. I just want to make sure that's good. But anyways, so I'm feeling good. A lot of bullish things have been happening. Ethereum tagged 4K. Polymarket predicted that, 87% chance. And of course, whatever Polymarket says is truth. And then, like you mentioned, the magic internet money wizard, which is what the Bitcoin Runes community knows the wizard by. Obviously, most know about the lore behind it as well from 2013. And there's just a lot of excitement, NASDAQ listed companies, barreling in $5 billion into Ethereum. And Ethereum's just looking very, very strong right now. So strong to where there's some people that are, very, very data driven and on-chain sleuths saying, hey, we should be higher than where we are. And it seems like Binance is playing their market maker kind of tricks. It's not really tricks though. It's legal. They're making money, but they're just scalping. So, trying to get between that 2, 3, 4% of profit. And sometimes that can, hold back price a little bit. But I think there's gonna be a moment in time where they're not gonna be able to do that. And they're gonna realize that, hey, it's about to hit just this really strong uptrend. And I think we see that sooner than later.
Yeah, man. When you say sooner or later though, the second part of August or the first part of September? Like, what are you thinking? What is your
time? So I'm I've been more and more about like the technical side, right? Okay. Whenever I'm looking at price action. And so when I look at the monthly chart for Ethereum, it just, to me, it screams that it wants to break through 4,100, 4,200, 4,300, right? So, and it also tells me when I see it, looking at these momentum indicators like the MACD, and you just look at and you zoom out, and that monthly chart tells me that Ethereum is wanting August to be a bullish month for itself, right? And so I think we get so caught up in today. What's the price action today on the hour chart? What's the price action even tomorrow or the next day on the 4-hour chart? But once you start getting to the daily chart, that really gives you some zoomed out information. You get more of a sentiment feel of, okay, where are we from a kind of this month sentiment or this week or 2-week sentiment, and what the daily chart and now, well, the monthly chart for sure, and now the daily chart's kind of coming back as well, is telling me is that Ethereum's ready. It's primed. Now, could there be a fake out? Sure. But I just feel like all the setup is just there for Ethereum. It's there for Ethereum to have a great August. Now, being in crypto, especially the past year and a half, we do realize that nothing lasts for a long time. So for me, I feel like, if it does have the bullish August, we're going to probably see something here in the next 2 weeks with really bullish sentiment. And then maybe some pullback towards the end of August and beginning of September, which is perfectly set up for heading into the Q4, right? So first half of September might not be great for the entire space, but that last week of September might be good, and October typically is good. So I'm okay with that. Give me the good August. Let's take a little break in September and then pick things back up in October. And that's, obviously a speculation that I'm having right now, but based off of some data and stuff that I'm taking a look at. And I'll get into that later once we get into the Bitcoin and crypto price action.
Yes, 100%, dude. I agree with everything you said. Is it me, or does, $4,000 Ethereum feel like $60,000 Bitcoin last year. Last year, the same exact time in August, Bitcoin struggled. It hadn't got back to its all-time high yet. It struggled so heavily to get over 60K. Every time we got close to 60K, smacked back down. And then the Germany selling started happening. We went down to 47, and then we had all the strength in the world to come up and then crack that 60,000. And then immediately, I mean, it was like it felt like hours later that we passed the 69,420. Does ETH need to go back down in order to get strength to come back up and crack this 4K?
No, and I'll tell you why. Last year, whenever Bitcoin was going through that, it was a different time. It was pre this administration. It was, you know, what else was it? Sorry. It was also not in the bull run year. But yes, Bitcoin was getting aggressive. It was, you know, you had the ETF approvals and stuff like that happening that year in 2024. But I do feel like it wasn't as primed for all these institutions are on board now. They're meeting us. It's not even meeting in the middle anymore. They're meeting us. They're coming 75%. We're coming 25%. And so because of that, I don't think Ethereum has to go through what Bitcoin went through to tag the 69,420, only to get rejected by it and then go back to 51 and then try to tag it again and only get to rejected by it again. We already went through that actually with Ethereum too, because Ethereum went through some of that last year too, 3 times. Remember, it tagged 4K. But because you said, you know, the only similarities I think in terms of like feeling of, you know, similarities between those two cases is the fact that Ethereum is coming back to, you know, an area of to where it could possibly challenge this all-time high. Let's not forget the all-time high is 4,800, somewhere around there. And so there's still work to be done. So I think because the 4,800 is about what we're looking about 800 down the line, we have an opportunity to kind of bust through the lower 4,000s, in my opinion. And then we'll visit, you know, a challenge of the all-time high. When does that happen? You know, that could happen more towards after the September break is what I'm thinking, getting into October, but then hitting it early and then maybe getting to 5,000 and then really coasting into a strong you know, end of the year. And then obviously we know, you know, there'll be a pullback after that, or most people think so. So I don't know. Obviously we're using past experiences with historical data while at the same time trying to adjust little things because this year is different than typical bull run years. But the one thing that isn't different is that we're all getting bullish at the right time, and every August is green in the bull run year. And I'm telling you guys, I'm saying it right now, this August is going to be green.
Sign me up. Let's get it. I'm ready.
All right, guys. We got a lot on the docket today, and I know we talked about like it was a natural conversation that went for about 10-15 minutes here, but we got a couple things. So like I mentioned before, $5 billion of ETH from a NASDAQ listed company. Man, that's confidence if you ask me, flowing into Ethereum. And then also Solana. This is going to be big, guys. Jupiter is going to be offering pre-IPO company synthetic token stocks, right? So you're gonna be able to get in before, like, you know, pre-show Shizzy was saying Circle, right? Imagine if you were to get in before Circle exploded. So that's gonna be really awesome. And then you know, we're gonna jump right into it with this first topic, but with the Coinbase, you know, posting the Maven's bot, Magic Internet Money Wizard, and crypto Twitter going absolutely nuts about that, including people not from our ecosystem, but that tend to only come over whenever it's convenient for them, right? Like the Clementes, the you know, Rich Nicks, the Get Rich Nicks or whatever, Kook sometimes too, even though I do give him a little bit more respect, and not that I disrespect those other two guys, but like Kook was there in the beginning of Ordinals. I remember I actually commented and showed him how to use a Unisat wallet. He probably won't remember that or ever admit that, but I did do that. But anyways, let's jump into this topic here. So you see here Coinbase's X account out of the blue. You know, I almost want to say that I feel like this was Brian Armstrong himself, because he has you know, connections to like loving his you know, the historical events of Bitcoin. But he said the Coinbase account says, "Grok, imagine, bring this legend to life," and that's exactly what happened. And you can see right there, you can see the wizard, you know, spinning on his Bitcoin, and I think it says "join us" down there. But this was a meme that has so much lore to it, and the launch of it in the Runes ecosystem, I feel like it's a little unfortunate because it did start on BRC20, but what can you do, right? But it bridged over, and once it bridged over, like the whales joined in. Now it's catching momentum at the right time, right place, right time. And of course, the Rune ecosystem degens just took full advantage of this post and started going nuts on it. And Leonidas posted underneath it and stuff like that. So let me ask you, because you tend to try to look at things from the opposite side of the aisle, just to kind of play devil's advocate here. Is this in any way have anything to do, even 1% to do with Coinbase possibly listing Runes and Magic Internet Money?
I want to lie to you and say yes. I want to lie and say yes, but I can't do that. No, this has nothing to do with Runes, nothing to do with Taproot Wizards, nothing to do with the Bitcoin Wizards, nothing to do with the new 10K collection that Mavenspot's creating. This is just Brian Armstrong being, like me, a Bitcoin historian. You love the lore of the Bitcoin's past, right? Because you study the past, you can have, you can bring that past to, the future and stuff like that. You want to make sure that the new Bitcoiners understand what the old Bitcoiners had to do to get that money, and how what you can do today to kind of push Bitcoin forward. This is just a Bitcoin push, in my opinion, for the new retail that's coming in. I don't think Brian Armstrong would have put this out there if new retail wasn't coming in. It just shows me that he's seeing the analytics start coming in where there's newer people, and he just wants to educate them on the Bitcoin lore, the stuff that got him excited back in 2013.
Okay, so, but can this be used as an opportunity to bring attention, though, to, maybe Coinbase, and maybe they kind of be like, okay, well, we know some of the Kraken, they pay attention to their competition, so they see what Kraken did with Runes and stuff like that. But you see under here, the replies, of course, Leonidas is going to be a huge account that replies right away. It says, he puts, dear Coinbase, when can we buy the top Bitcoin meme coins like Dog, Mem Pups, Billy Gizmo, and Lobo on Coinbase? 813 likes, 14,000 views. And then you just have an array of, follow-ups with this. By the way, this is huge too, in terms of seeing stuff like this, because you're seeing the same tickers over and over and over. And if you see that, I think that's definitely a viral type of marketing approach, right? I mean, look at this, like all of them, all these comments underneath, and they're probably going to show more of you guys on my account because you guys are crazy and, we cover the space. But I mean, I've recognized every single account, especially like no surprise, Double Ducks comes underneath and talks about Ordi right here. And then
the only one out there who's an actual who knows how to use a transfer inscription anyway, doing Ordi.
Robin, I literally recognize every single account, maybe a couple of them, but almost like every account. You got Merlin, you got Tokyo, you got, so one thing I will say is that like the marketing together is starting to come together like in unison here and stuff. But could this, if they continue this type of approach, could they change the minds of Coinbase? Or are you thinking Coinbase is going to be one that like it's just going to be impossible to get?
No. I think so. My original point was that this wasn't designed for Runes, right? My second point was this was accidentally the biggest thing that ever happened to Runes, right? So what's happening now is it's like the community's job, and the community, they stepped right up to bat, man. They were ready, and they knocked one out the park, because now Coinbase, I think if Coinbase didn't know about MIM yesterday, if they didn't know about Taproot Wizards yesterday, they know today. And that is the biggest thing ever, because now it's a conversation that they have to have. They have to have a conversation. If somebody has to bring it up, should we list these Bitcoin tokens? Because Coinbase is one of the few places that they haven't listed Ordi, right? And Ordi hit $1 billion and had all that. But I think it's time for them to at least wake up. And I think Dog and Ordi should be listed tomorrow. I think it's stupid for them not to. And I'm not even a big Ordi guy. I actually don't like Ordi at all. But you can't deny the undeniable, and that's Dog and Ordi, and they need to be listed over there. And I think they will be by the end of the cycle, whether it's February, March, or even May. I think they get listed.
Yeah, no, that would be huge. These get listed on Coinbase, and they will, in my opinion, be the biggest plays of the cycle, because they don't. one thing about runes, I will say, in Bitcoin fungibles is, yes, there's a huge pain point in terms of being able to go in and out of them. But another thing too is like, if these tokens were on any other chain, they would have died. But like, not all of them, like Dog has maintained a or was it multiple hundreds of $1 million market cap. But some of them, like $1 billion Cat, which has a strong community, it got down to 4 million, and some people just like other ecosystems give up, but runes kind of can't. I feel like, because it's like you're kind of stuck with your bags, like literally stuck with your bags, right? And so you're either gonna
you get out. You use
yeah,
stuff like that.
but it's not the same. Yeah, you get out now, like because of like innovations with Sats Terminal and dot swap and stuff like that, but it wasn't always like that. And people are used to what they're comfortable with, so people sometimes still use like the old way of doing things. But what the whole reason I'm saying that is because if they reach another centralized exchange similar to Kraken, which Coinbase would be, it's the king, them and Binance, right? Then you're just solidifying it more, and you're making it more liquid. And then I think that's whenever all these go into like escape velocity. Like you're talking about crazy, like easy $100 million market caps for Billy, for Pups, for possibly Gizmo at that point, if they're all on there. But that's like the dream, I think, and we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I sold down on this pump. I sold down some of my MIM because I was looking for liquidity to buy more Dog, because Dog's gotten really cheap, and look, MIM shot up. I mean, I got in at $30 million market cap was my first couple of buys there. So I was like, you know what, I'm on 3.5x, and I missed the opportunity to take any profit last time. So I took some chips off the table of my MIM. And then put most of that in Dog and a little bit more in Hustle, right? Two coins that I'm extremely bullish on. Hustle being the AI project from from the guys at Emblem Vault. But I'm just really excited for being able to see these runes explode again. And I think it's going to happen multiple times. And I think Kraken could use this momentum right now to list Mint today. I mean, they could announce it today. It really could.
Yeah, they definitely could. We'll see if that happens, but there's definitely a lot of momentum. But it would go against that strategy that you said, though, because you probably want the news to calm down just a little bit, a tad, so they can get it cheaper.
Well,
but
Gizmo and Billy ran yesterday too, right?
They did run.
So I was up 20% on my Gizmo bag yesterday. So
yeah, they definitely ran off of the news. That is for sure. But all right, let's get into the next part of the main topic here, and that is here NASDAQ listed fundamental global file. So they haven't purchased it yet, but they're filing to raise up to $5 billion, with majority of the proceeds will be used to buy Ethereum for its treasury strategy. And that seems to be the popular thing right now, is raising to buy Ethereum, not raising to buy Bitcoin, right? And or even raising to buy their own stock. Like investors don't want them to buy stock. They want them to buy these assets because they feel like these, at least Bitcoin and Ethereum for the most part, and the focus is on Ethereum, is to buy Ethereum as the price continually goes up and it's attractive, right? So Fundamental Global is the company here. $5 billion raising. This is pretty big in my opinion, because they're a NASDAQ listed company. And more and more respectable companies are coming in and doing this. Do you think this continues for ETH? And do you think kind of like just a little bit of the Bitcoin side got exhausted to where we're not seeing as much in the headlines, but it's happening still, but it's not as much now? ETH is in the headlines. Do you think Ethereum gets this gets exhausted with Ethereum in terms of these companies looking for the next token opportunity, or do you think this one lasts probably until the end of the year, the narrative with Ethereum and raising money to buy treasury, or add them to treasury strategic reserves and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, the main reason why people are doing this now and didn't think about doing it before was Tom Lee was that wake-up call, right? Tom Lee was, hey, we're going to buy Ethereum, we're going to stake it. A lot of these companies, right, they've like dismissed crypto so much, they never really looked into it, and they probably didn't even know you could stake ETH. You got to remember, ETH just changed from proof of work to proof of stake in 2022, right? 2021. No, it's 2022. It's August of 2022. So what's that say? I mean, there's a lot of companies that didn't even know you could stake it. Imagine getting 6% yield on your Ethereum every year, and that price of Ethereum goes up every 4 years, almost guaranteed. I mean, this is the ultimate thing. I think the days of Bitcoin strategy companies, I think they're going to go by the wayside. I think you're going to have like, really strong 10, 15 of them, right? And then I think the rest of Silicon Valley and a lot of the other ones, they're going to go after ETH. ETH is going to be that primary asset because you can stake it in the most safest way possible on chain. And what that does, that creates every 32 ETH creates a new validator, right? And every validator keeps the network stronger. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to ETH was Bitcoin treasuries companies being like, wow, wait a minute, there's that staking. I need it. I want it. I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and I think the Ethereum Foundation and some of these ETH balls really need to be thanking Tom Lee because let's be honest, he was the catalyst. I mean, and he's not that type of person.
SharpLink did it first.
I will agree.
So
I agree with that, but I feel like Tom Lee just like after he came out and said that, and the difference between SharpLink and him is he did this for Bitcoin before, and he's pivoted. And so when you're pivoting and again, I say this because like I still think Bitcoin is the most fundamentally solid asset in all of crypto. Ethereum is making a case for itself for sure. But when you have someone like Tom Lee at that, that level of presence and stuff, which he didn't always have. He built that through calling Bitcoin price projections correctly, just being really educated in the space and having a TradFi background, but, realizing way before his other, counterparts and, companies that he worked with that crypto was going to be the future. When they make a big statement like this, it's huge, right? And so, but I do want to give credit to SharpLink because who was SharpLink, right? Before they started doing this, and then like it did kind of start this waterfall effect because no one was doing it before SharpLink publicly in a large amount. And then you have Tom Lee doing it. But with that being said, you do feel like this is going to continue on for, the cycle. And then do you see like Solana being the next one up or XRP being the next one up? Because we're hearing little chatter here and there, but like, it's not serious like it was with Bitcoin and Ethereum. There hasn't been a consistent, huge amount of institutions really just, throwing capital around the sizes that they have for these two assets.
I do, but I think it's going to take a $10,000 ETH for people to start pivoting. You need people to say, I missed this.
That's the top.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Or
the top.
Yeah. For the
and
local.
Then you're going to see it start pouring in the Cardano, any proof of stake token that's available that hasn't ran yet. I think that they're going to pour into that, and you're going to see more of that. But I do think it takes ETFs to get that SEC approval to start staking them, right? Because right now, obviously, you can stake Ethereum, but Ethereum is already being said, hey, it's not a security. You need the SEC to say this one is not, and this one is not, and this one not. I think it does happen, but I think it does let Ethereum really get captured before that stuff starts to happen. Yeah,
I agree. I think that could be, pretty much the playbook there, right? Once it starts to get exhausted, they're going to be looking for the next opportunity. And that's why I keep bringing up that TradFi people are opportunists. They're capitalists. And so are we. And we have to realize that. That's the one thing we do have in common with them is both sides are capitalist thinking, capitalist minded, and opportunist, right? The only things that's the big thing that's difference between us is that theirs was basically controlled by the, inner cabals that which we also have, but theirs were a lot bigger and a lot more powerful. But all right, let's go to the last part of the headline today, and that is tokenized pre-IPO stocks from pre-stocks are now tradable on Solana via Jupiter. So you said this is not for me, not this specifically, but kind of the tokenized traditional stocks. But I have a feeling that maybe this is a little bit for you because it's before they get big. I don't know. What do you think?
I love this. I'll start off with that. I think this is absolutely amazing because the biggest problem I had. So when I first got into investing, period, right? I used to be just a CNC machinist, and that's all I did. I didn't even know what investing would begin with. The first book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and when Rich Dad went to the army, he came back, and his friend he wasn't capable of going to the army because he had something wrong with him. He came back and he was investing, but at that point he became an accredited investor, and Robert was not. So when Robert wanted to invest in the same things as his friend, he couldn't do that because his friend, while he was in the army, his friend was just, making money, right? So now he became an accredited investor, and that stopped Robert from competing with his friend because, he didn't have the money his friend did, all because of his wealth status. This changes that. There's no excuse. Now we all have access to the same things accredited investors have, and there's no one sitting there saying, "Sir, you don't have $250,000 in assets. You cannot buy this," which is total bullshit. It kind of just keeps the poor out of the rich's games, right? That's gone. This is the ultimate catch up for us. This is the greatest thing that has ever happened to society, in my opinion. This stops that wealth gap. This gives everyone the same opportunities. This opens up a hallway of opportunity for people who didn't have it last week. I love this. But to answer your question, I probably won't be getting into this. I'd rather put my money in dog. I'd rather put my money in meme coins. Like, I don't know, right? But I think this is really cool for that person who does want that opportunity, right? For me, I see more opportunity in layer one Bitcoin assets. I see more opportunity in Ethereum DeFi. I see more opportunity in JPEGs. But for anyone who loves this world and wants to be a part of the corporate structure, this is absolutely amazing for them.
Yeah, well, but we've talked a lot about utility and wanting it to come back. Does this become a part of the utility sector for us though? Because like the thing is, utility has been kind of not in the spotlight for our space, as liquidity hasn't been flowing too much into it, but it's because there's just been so much meme and so much fluff when we do talk about utility, right? So does this kind of get rolled into like the utility side, and does it make the utility side better for our space?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess it will consider. I mean, this is just like coins at this point, right? And it's just utility companies and stuff like that. Yeah, 100%. No, I didn't think about it like that. You're 100% right. This is the new utility. But the only problem with this is the ones that you can buy are already ones investors already have giant
And
bags, right? Like there's opportunity there, but I'm waiting for the next gen of opportunity to where the investors haven't gotten in yet, right? That's where I want to be. And
yeah.
that'd be really cool to see those IPO companies come along.
But it could be like this process now, though, even with traditional companies that say, okay, now before what they would do is they would, form a company in Silicon Valley, kind of like how we have with like our incubators, but they've always done it this way wherever they are. They find their team and then they do their raises, right? Or they develop the product, the idea, and then they do their like Series A, they do their, traditional way. Does that change now? Because now it's like we're merging and maybe they go a token route first. Because if you think about like this, like Kraken, for example, like you said, you want to get in something before Kraken, because if Kraken had a token right now, it'd be worth billions. Low billions, but probably billions. But they haven't because of regulatory issues before. And then now they just skip that. And now they're doing the IPO instead. But if they did have a token, it would be billions. And then they do the IPO, right? So you're saying you want to be able to catch them like before they even like get the token or the very early days of the token, and they're successful and then IPO. So maybe that's just a part of the company growing process now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and this is a new way for companies to raise money, right? You just pre-IPO there's going to be in the future, there's going to be no difference between a crypto company and
That's what I'm
normal
trying. That's what I was
company.
trying to get
You're
to.
right. Yeah,
What I mean?
yeah. Like that's crazy. Like it's
There's
going
gonna
to be
be
insane.
aspects of both, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Into where, and I think what we're seeing with the SPAC side of things, if this continually plays out, that's just another tool that they used in TradFi world, but they're able to use it here to raise money quickly and stuff like that. So, going to be really, really interesting stuff, guys. I'm excited about this because I do want to see more utility and stuff like that in our space, and I think that there's going to be a merging of that. But we'll see how that plays out. But
what about you though? Are you going to be participating in this?
Possibly, because we don't know how these companies are now going to interact with even like media outlets like us,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe they want more coverage in the future or something, but they come from Silicon Valley, but now they realize they okay, now this is our route to success, right? We launch a token for marketing, because as much as people think token is just for kind of like this, oh, if the project does good, no, it's actually a marketing tool if you use it correctly. You know, it makes people know about you. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I think the future is hard to tell exactly how it's going to play out. But the one thing I think we can both agree on, and most people that are listening, is that there's going to be this kind of like merging of traditional companies within crypto. They're going to probably figure out like this new system of success. Like instead of like maybe a round of raising traditionally, you do a token, and then you do like a Series A. And then you, if you get good enough and big enough, then you do like possibly an IPO. All these things can help your road to success, because there's a lot of people that get shot down during the raising process too, and they just never are able to continue their idea forward. And many people might say, well, that, you know, the people that were judging them, the investors, they weren't good enough, they couldn't get past that route. Sure, maybe those investors or something, but maybe there was something else, and they can launch a token at least to see if they can get funding to you know, guide their way to success. But we'll see how that changes everything here. But I did see your comment, Patty Poo, and I think you might be right. He's talking about the astrology and the blood moon and all that stuff. Dude. We'll get into that later. But that was very, very
I was
interesting.
ChatGPT in that, and dude, if this goes with the blood moon, and so the reason it affects crypto, because it affects emotions. The crypto is very emotionally driven. So that is why crypto is more effective than the stock market with this bullish moon stuff. I don't know, man. You could be right, Patty Poo. Might be onto something, brother.
Yes, you might be onto something, brother. All right, well, let's take a look at what this is. What I got next here. Polymarket users predicted. That was you know, past tense. Previously, I changed that because we hit it. $4,000 ETH with an 87% voting yes, and it happened this morning. So Ethereum did hit. I won't get into it too deeply here, but because I'm going to talk about it during the price action. But the whole reason I wanted to bring this up to you is you know, first of all, do we need to start using Polymarket to start trading, swing trading? Right? Because I mean, like now this could be an indicator that gets rolled in. Don't steal my idea, someone is going to, but you can roll in a Polymarket indicator into trading view and sell that or whatever. But you know, it's like 85% is going to get it works for like the monthly chart or something, you know, 85% is going to hit 4,000 or whatever. But I mean, you know, this was huge. It did hit 4,000. It seemed like it tagged it, but the day's not over yet. I want to give it the rest of the day up until Sunday, I think. And if we don't really move past it, I'm going to be a little concerned for next week. Not too concerned, but some. But how do you feel about this? And should we be looking towards Polymarket possibly to swing trade?
It's still scary though, because didn't Polymarket yesterday have Bitcoin going to 111, 80%?
Well, I think it said at some point in this month, right?
In August.
And I think, yeah, at some
in
point.
August.
So August isn't done.
So
and
that's my only thing, right? It's like they're saying ETH 4,000, Bitcoin 111. I mean, is that correlated? Do we need Bitcoin drop to 111 for ETH to hit 4,000? Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like,
yeah. I mean, because Bitcoin definitely didn't like dump or anything like this morning, right? Like it went up as well, I believe.
Dumping now though, as from what I'm
seeing. Is dumping now. When I'm looking at the hour chart, it's dumping much more than Ethereum is dumping. Like,
well, ETH Bitcoin is flying up. ETH Bitcoin is up a ton today.
Okay, so but what is this?
It's almost 2.5%.
But what does that align with? That aligns with
selling down Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the first like dump of Bitcoin and the rise of Ethereum, which we were waiting for the first 5, 6, 7 months of this year. And we're like, what the heck is happening? This usually happens at least once kind of in spring and then again in the later part of the year. But we didn't get that until recently. And it seems like it's happening now. So maybe Bitcoin does get to 111 and Ethereum, you know, has already hit 4,000. We'll see how high it gets to. But yeah, the one thing the one thing I'm looking at right now, was it a quick tag or was it, you know, something that we're going to see that continues into the continues into August? that is what we'll see. And then really quick to kind of follow up with that, crypto quant Bitcoin at 116 is still in DCA buy zone. So 111 to me doesn't scare me though. You know what I mean? So like even 116 to 111, and crypto quant is a big data analytics kind of just provider, right? So I think 111 is fine, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that these whales are in this DCA kind of consolidation. So even if it does swing down to 111, I don't think the Bitcoin people are going to freak out much, especially our crypto Twitter. If Ethereum's at like 4,400 or 4,300 and Bitcoin's at 111, I think crypto Twitter is going to go absolutely nuts. And we're going to see degen stuff start to happen again.
Yeah, 100%. And August is known for accumulation month, right? Slow accumulation throughout the entire month. And that sets up the back ladder of the month with this is what the rich people do, right? They slowly accumulate. And that's kind of what this, I mean, exactly what you just said with the Bitcoin accumulation.
Exactly. The Bitcoin accumulation. And I do think Bitcoin does have that strong leg up. Maybe not in August, and I might be wrong on that. That might be the one thing that I feel like I got wrong with this price action, because I did call, I said that I think 128 to 130 was very, very much on the table for Bitcoin in August, but I'm not sure if we do finally get the kind of sell down Bitcoin into Ethereum. I just can't see that happening. And then, Bitcoin will probably thrive in late September or heading into October. But this is the crypto quant Bitcoin at 116 and still in the DCA buy zone. So as you can see here, the buy range is the green, right? And you can see that it's still, we're looking at right in this area right here. So I mean, it's still high, right? It's still high, but obviously the price is lower. We're sitting at 116 right now, 117. So I mean, if you zoom out, it's still, on the way up. We obviously aren't at that 123 that we saw for the all-time high. So I mean, I think Bitcoin's in a healthy area. Even if we get down to 111 again, like I said, nothing to worry about. Plus, it seems like Runes wants to run whenever like Ethereum and some of these altcoins are running. So I guess could you say we can come up with the conclusion that Bitcoin assets are more aligned with Ethereum? And
100%. I've been saying that for a long time. Bitcoin is no longer an indicator at all. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin does. In my opinion, it matters what ETH does. And I think we're about to see a breakout from alts, even if Bitcoin dips to 111.
Yeah, no, I agree there for sure. All right, guys, we still got the Bitcoin fear and greed and the Bitcoin price action, but a couple more things I want to get into before that, including roll call. We'll get into that after the price action, and we will at 12:30 Eastern have our great friend Jake from Emblem Vault on with us. We could talk a little bit about the markets, talk a little bit about Hustle, talk a little bit about Solana, Ethereum, and of course the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. But I want to get into this. This is pretty big. El Salvador plans to launch the world's first Bitcoin bank. As you can see, it says Bitcoin Bank here. But what does that mean? What does Bitcoin Bank mean? Like, what is it?
Bitcoin Bank is where you can go to the bank and you can borrow against your Bitcoin. That's the first thing that I got from it, right? Because right now, the main source of banks, how do the banks make most of their money? It through
lending
mortgage loans,
yeah.
right? Mortgage loans,
any kind of loans, yeah.
So I think a Bitcoin bank is something where you can go to, and instead of putting up your house, you can go there, and their primary objective is to let you borrow against your Bitcoin. If you have, 1 Bitcoin and you want to buy this car, they'll say, hey, we'll give you the $30,000 for your car, 0 interest. I mean, barely 0, right? What they're going to do potentially, they can go around and do things with that Bitcoin and actually earn a little yield on it or something like that, with people trying to short Bitcoin or something like that. They might be able to earn yield on it. So think about that, a way for El Salvador to give potentially 0 interest rate loans for its community and its people, right? And because the bank can go and use that Bitcoin to do something else with it and make income that way.
Yeah, for sure. And, that's what people are looking for right now anyways. Like, whether it's like in a tangible way of going to a bank to use your Bitcoin and make more Bitcoin, or digitally, because that's what a lot of the focus in the Bitcoin ecosystem is borrowing and lending, but in a way that these maxis and people that hold Bitcoin feel comfortable doing it. And I think that I think they're more aligned with centralization than they claim to be. And that's because
they're 100% aligned with centralization. They love it.
Exactly. But they say they don't, right? They say it's about
most of them hold their Bitcoin on exchanges, right?
I think there's some that hold them in cold storage, but they want to do something with them. They want to be able to earn off of them. And with the way that Bitcoin works without smart contracts, you have to have some sort of point of centralization in the future. That seems that maybe that could change, but this definitely is centralized, right? If you take your Bitcoin to the Bitcoin bank and then do whatever with it, then you're giving up custody of it. So I think that like the whole argument and fighting of like trying to advance like the Bitcoin ecosystem from a tech stack standpoint is stupid, because like they're willing to take their Bitcoin to a physical bank. Then why are they fighting? Yeah, they could say about security and all these things, but if you're not changing much of the core code, then I don't get what their argument is here. But this is big. Do you think the US comes on board with this? Do you think we see Bitcoin banks here?
First, I just want to say this makes El Salvador. I don't think El Salvador can be considered a third world country anymore. They're so innovative. I mean, they have so much innovation going. I mean,
they're making money too.
They're making money. They're using volcano heat to power Bitcoin miners to mine Bitcoin. I mean, that's the first thing. And the second thing, they have Bitcoin banks now. And to answer your question, yes, I think in the next 12 months we see Bitcoin banks in the US, places that secure your custody. And like for PNC Bank, for instance, right? They might not want to secure. They're going to use something like Coinbase. But if someone like the Bitcoin Bank or something's like, hey, we'll give you yield on your Bitcoin because we're going to figure out ways to create yield on our end. So you're going to see stuff like that. But this could be an eye-opening vision in the bear market. One of these Bitcoin banks could go under, and a lot could happen to change a lot of regulation. And that's what some of the maxis are saying. They're saying Bitcoin could blow up at the end of the cycle, the U.S., and then that will make the next administration come in and have to re-regulate crypto. So that would be the only scary part. So, but again, I think we're years away from anything to even think about anything like that. But
yeah, so you're saying if a Bitcoin bank has to get built out?
Yeah, they could come in and put like stronger regulations on crypto itself, right? Some are even saying even property tax.
Yeah.
Did you lose me?
Gotcha. You broke up there at the end, but yeah, but you said property tax, I think, or something. What were you saying?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
tax?
I think if we don't get, if we get a shitty regulation, different regime later, it could be really bad for something blows up. So we got to make sure that everything's done and everything's done properly.
Yeah, and I think that needs to be done like ASAP, right? Because you got to build the infrastructure in the system to the point of no return. That way, the next administration comes in. You have to they have to change the financial system this administration, and because if there's any door that's open, the globalist or that type of minded people will try to revert back, because they're losing power with this. Even though they're rich and stuff, they still have opportunity to come into this new system and figure it out. They don't want that. It was set up for them. It was easy and stuff like that before, so they will try to take advantage of that for sure. All right, I'm going to jump into the Bitcoin or actually the fear and greed. Let's do the crypto fear and greed first, and then I will do the Bitcoin price action. But the fear and greed, I feel like, is going to be a little tougher for you to figure out, because I mean, you're probably kind of emotionally tied to what happened this morning, but we're about to see what the score was yesterday at 8 p.m. as soon as this loads up.
Well, I'm going to guess it with no hint. I'm going to say 66. Last night I remember being on the boardwalk and I was like, looking at Bitcoin's price right around 8 o'clock. And I was like, this feels like a 66.
All right. So last week, 57, yesterday, 50, or the day before yesterday, 54. Yesterday was a 59.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I was almost in the 60s.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad for a straight up throwing a dart in the dark. That's for sure. But what do you think it is going to be tomorrow? Or I should say tonight. because we're
Bitcoin
not
back
gonna be
in
able.
115 range,
You think we?
54.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it is crypto. It's not just Bitcoin, so we'll see. But Bitcoin is bleeding out for sure, and we are going to
Yeah.
get into that
Well,
right now. Go
Bitcoin's
ahead.
dropping, and you're seeing dog red now, Tao's red now. The S&P and stuff's green, which is weird, which makes me think the second half of the day could be a little bit more on the bullish side. But I'm seeing, Sonic down, AIXBT down, Anon down, Sol down. So it's across the board red. So
For sure. All right, guys, we're going to get into the Bitcoin price action. But before that, I always ask you guys to help us out. And by helping us out, we need you to smash the like on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, all that great stuff. On X, let's share the space, guys. That helps us out a ton. Hit the like as well. Same thing on Abstract. If you guys see us and hear us, share this link. And every other channel as well, Twitch, what else, Spotify, all those great, Kick as well. That was the one I couldn't think of just now. But we're going to get into Bitcoin price action, brought to you guys by Artura.finance. And Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade Bitcoin synthetic tokens like Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, perhaps Ordi or Sats if they are hot as well. So whatever the community is going to be requesting, they will definitely take that into consideration. Also, you're going to be able to trade the traditional assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tau, XRP, and some really cool synthetic TradFi assets like Strategy and Coinbase stock. So that's going to be really exciting, guys. But you're going to be able to also earn points, ARA points, which are their XP point system that goes towards early adopters. It's a give back. Also, they're going to be able to track the Botanics because that's where they're live right now is Botanics, the Spider Chain, Bitcoin Layer 2. They're going to do a give back as well. So you can kind of double dip there. So make sure you guys are taking advantage at Artura.finance and let us know if you have any questions and reach out to the team as well. You can join their Discord as well. But let's get in some Bitcoin price action here. All right. We are going to start with the hour chart for Bitcoin. Let me get rid of that window there. But yeah, Bitcoin is not looking too great right now, man. It looks like this downtrend that started yesterday at 8 p.m., 6 p.m., I should say, has not stopped for Bitcoin. Although Ethereum, has had a pretty good morning, Bitcoin, on the other hand, is not having a great morning or second half of yesterday. We did have some consolidation here starting at 12 a.m. and it looked like possibly we're going to see like a good day. I mean, we did wick all the way up here to 117,359, but something has turned this around, and that's probably why you had some people saying, I hope this wasn't a fake out. But remember, let's keep our focus on how the market dynamics are happening right now. There is this belief that Bitcoin is being sold down into Ethereum. So you got to pay attention to both right now, right? So let's take a look at the momentum indicators here. You can see the MACD looks like it wants to go down, guys. This fast line right here looks like it wants to do a curve down, and that's not a good thing, especially the more south it looks and the larger this MACD candle grows. It's not going to be good. You see the stochastics, we've been down here for a good minute though, like Thursday evening, so yesterday evening, not too long, but it is the hour chart. You can see that we've been here for a bit, and the fast line on the stochastics looks better than the fast line on the MACD. But if we can kind of try to pull up out of here, get above that 20-point mark, that will be great on the stochastic RSI. The MACD, though, needs to align with that. We just need to see some price action happening here for Bitcoin for the hour chart. Let's pull back to some local data here to see how the support and resistance is looking for Bitcoin. All right, we are pulling back to 4 a.m. I will take that data. And at this price point, the 116, 140, we are getting dominated by the resistance. This area, it doesn't have a lot of volume. So if we do get some buy bids that are pretty significant, we can push us up. But again, like we free fall, we'll probably ping pong unless we get some strong buy bids because, it is dominating on the resistance side, but not a ton of volume. And then below that, it gets a little bit better, but not much at the 116. 116. Below that, it gets worse because there's more volume, but the ratio is worse in my opinion for the support side. And then we start to balance out at 115,900, and then we are completely trying to protect the 115,800 down here. It's completely dominated by support, so that's where this wick came in, right? Nevertheless, the low volume areas, they don't really matter as much in terms of like who's dominating. So we just need some strong bids and get to the areas that we have more volume and strength. And the next place that I see with that is going to be 116,500, and we still barely losing to the resistance area there. So yeah, we definitely need to see some large bids for Bitcoin. It doesn't look great, to be honest. So I wouldn't be shocked if we do range maybe back down to 115,500 and we see something like that. So that is what I'm seeing on the hour, and it is Friday. As we know, Fridays aren't always the best days for Bitcoin price action, right? But let's take a look at the 4-hour chart here. I'm going to pull that up. All right, the 4-hour chart is looking like it wants to close up the buy pressure, right? But this buy pressure has lasted for a long time. We're talking about the 3rd of August, so about 5 days, and last Sunday, right? So if this hour chart, the one that I just showed you guys, if it does bring us back to 115.5, 115, and we don't get any strong buy bids to come in, then we could close this out on the next 4-hour candle, which would be it's saying 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, this might actually close out another. This candle might close out here. So we'll see what happens, and then we'll see if we can maybe open it back up. We are still at the top of the channel of the 50-day EMA, so that is a good thing. We'll see if we can remain up there because we didn't get up here we haven't been up here for too long. We'll see what happens, but that hour chart definitely is going to guide the 4-hour chart, which obviously you guys know that's how it works. If we can stay strong in the hour chart, then we can maybe keep this open, but we're heading into a Saturday, which is typically a scalping day. It's just a trader day typically, unless there's some big headlines that come in to the news. So I'm not like super worried or anything, because like I said, even if Bitcoin gets to 111, I'm okay. We have to remember, guys, like we went to 123, right? And if Bitcoin is getting sold down into Ethereum, I'm happy for that. I'm actually happy if that's the case, if Bitcoin goes down and Ethereum goes up. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin's daily chart here. And then I'm going to jump into Ethereum because I feel like we definitely need to visit that. So the daily chart looked like, the sell pressure was closing up, and that was something that was getting me happy. I'm not going to lie, because, we had been in this sell pressure zone starting on, the end of the end of July, and that's when Ethereum started to really pick up, right? So maybe there is going to be a little bit more sell down still for Bitcoin, but hopefully that flows into Ethereum. So daily chart just looks like we are going to be hanging out here for maybe at least until maybe Sunday evening we get a little boost up for Bitcoin. We'll see. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum's hour chart, man, just looked so freaking good until this red candle. But again, we did touch that $4,000 mark. But I am in the camp that we are going to blow past that. Maybe not today, maybe Sunday evening, maybe next week it takes, but there is going to be a point in August that we blow past the $4,000 mark. But it seems like it's not going to happen here in the next hour or so, at least. So there is a little bit of a reversal after we did hit that $4,000 mark. I am completely fine with that. This candle does look weak on the MACD, though. I'll tell you that. I'll take this all day, because it did look like it was going to transition into the buy pressure, and that got flipped after kind of Bitcoin dumped. But it's not being as influenced at all from Bitcoin, and that stopped really in late July. And that's the first signs of Ethereum being bought up after people selling out of Bitcoin. So can Ethereum take the punches of Bitcoin dumping? Yes, it can. Now the next question is, can Ethereum go up as Bitcoin is dumping? Yes, it can. Repeat those words, speak it to an existence. No, but I really do believe that, by the way, that it can, and I think it will. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, again, it's going to happen today, this weekend, or Sunday, or next week, but sometime in August it will happen. But I actually like the setup here on the hour. I'm okay with this, unless this really just kind of blows out and gives us a candle like this, and I'll be like, That sucks. We're probably going to head back to like 37, 38, 37, maybe 36. But I'm not feeling that yet. I'm not, I'm feeling like we're in a good spot. Let's take a look at the daily chart for Ethereum. So Ethereum was a little bit behind Bitcoin on the daily because we were a little bit behind with success as well. Bitcoin finished its really peaky, after hitting 123, it was in late July. That's when Ethereum said, I'm turning the jets on. Right. And so, because of that, it looked like Bitcoin was going to close up its sell pressure, going to buy pressure. That turned around today, but Ethereum hasn't turned around. So Ethereum still looks like we have an opportunity. This is why I say maybe Ethereum goes up as Bitcoin maybe is projected to go down to 111. I mean, look at this chart. This chart looks really good to me. And even the hour chart, which we just looked at, not too bad, right? So Bitcoin, not too good. Ethereum, not too bad at all. The daily chart, Bitcoin, I'm worried. I don't think it's going to come back out of sell pressure anymore. Ethereum, I think it is going to come out of sell pressure. I think it's going to go into buy pressure. So that is my perspective. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's take a look here at the monthly, though. The monthly is what is the reason why I'm all about Ethereum blowing past $4,000 this month. I mean, we had the sell pressure last from the 1st of February this year all the way until the 1st of July. I mean, we didn't come out of it until August 1st. Right here. August 1st. So this is our first green candle month on the MACD, guys. And we're right here. We're right here. And this is the first green candle on the MACD. That, how excited that gets me? That means that, like, even though we had these great months and the sell pressure did exhaust, yes, these are signs of exhaustion in having green candles, but you don't always have to have green candles to get exhausted on a MACD indicator. But we did. We got big green candles here. And now we're starting our first green candle that's, of any significance on the monthly chart. Are you kidding me? And we're right here. That's what gets me bullish about August for Ethereum. Now, maybe I'm a little too bullish, but that's why I see this. So hopefully that breaks that down for you guys. I'm not worried about Ethereum one bit. I expected the one thing I am looking at is how it responds to 4,000. How early in the month it responds to it. We're still, this is the end of the first week. Did we just play tag for a second and then we're gonna have to take another week and a half? Then we get aggressive and start gut punching it? Or do we start gut punching it maybe Sunday evening, maybe early next week, middle next week? It's going to happen. I just don't know when in August it's going to happen. All right. Let's take a look at the crypto bubbles for you guys here. I think I just did the Little Mermaid song in my head. All right. Oh, you're on mute. Let's see here.
No, I was saying you did Super Mario.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I did do Super Mario. No. Yeah. So the crypto bubbles look pretty good on the daily chart here, though. To be honest, you got Aerodrome, which is getting a lot of hype. They are the main AMM for Coinbase for their decentralized approach on Base. So they're up 15% here. You see Aptos pulling up 6.1%. Pendle is up 21.5%. I'm not familiar with them, or maybe I just can't remember what they are, but they're
a DeFi project. I think on Ethereum.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then we have Chainlink here up 7.8%, Optimism up 6.6%, Sonic up 1.9%. So, a lot of these tokens are looking pretty good. Looking at the meme tokens, Doge is up 3.5%, Fartcoin up 2.7%. All is good when Fartcoin is up. Lido is up 9.2%, Shiba up 2%. What else do we got here? BNB up 1.2%, Ethereum up 3.2%, while Bitcoin is down 0.4%. You got to pay attention to these things, right? Bonk up 1.3%, SPX down 1.1%. That's a little shocking. While all the other memes are thriving, SPX is not. Pump is back to its old tricks. It's pulled back 3.6%.
Got killed yesterday, didn't it? A lot of shorts got liquidated.
Yeah, did it? A lot of shorts or a lot of
longs? I'm sorry, a lot of longs got liquidated. Sorry, yeah.
Wasn't it the perfect switcheroo? I felt like people got sucked into, like, I got out of my position, by the way.
Did you?
Up 300%. I can say it. Yeah. So I did take a long
that.
on pump, and I got up. It was a small position because you only can do, I think, a max of 5x on the leverage exchange. But like the fact that like I got out and then it reversed literally, I want to say 8 hours afterwards or something.
Yeah.
I was lucky because I wanted to do something else with that, because I was honestly going to be like, I'm just going to leave it because it's going to go up for a long time. But anyhow, yeah, so taking a look at some of these other tokens in here: Arbitrum up 3%, ICP up 2.1%, Caspa up 3.3%, HBAR up 1.9%, Curve Finance up 2%, Theta up 1.4%, and Monero back in the green, up 0.6%, barely in the green. Let's take a look here at the top 200. All right, in the top 200, Zora, which has been a little bit of, the talk of the town the past 2 weeks, even though I'm not super bullish on user experience. But hey, they have a lot of capital behind it. Base definitely supports them, and I think they're doing some integration as well. So Zora is up.
Integration with Forecaster and Zora.
Okay.
Where like they're doing something where if you just do a post on Zora, post on Forecaster, it automatically creates the coin for it, and you can buy and stuff. So that's why Zora and Forecaster are doing well right now.
Gotcha. Zora up 16.1%. We get paid in Zora whenever you make those little posts or whatever. I wonder if one day we just like forget about it, and then like Zora like jumps up billions, and all of a sudden it's worth a lot. So pay attention if you guys have used Zora, because Shizzy told me the other day, hey, go claim your social account on there, and you actually make money just for doing that. So it's pretty cool. Up 16.1%. SNEC, the SNEC community, man, they are looking strong. It's up 7.1%. Starknet up 2.7%. Let's see if they have any requests in the chat for anything there. All right, no, not yet. Okay, cool. Super up 4.4%. Eigenlayer up 3.5%. Mog up 5% here. Move up 3.2%. Is this based on the Move language, or is this totally different?
No, this is something that IPO'd a while ago. It's like a chain.
Gotcha. Turbo up 1.2%, and then we got Pith up 2.3%. It's crazy. You said that Pith was around for a long time, right?
Pith was around just as long as Chainlink, but they weren't trying to be the Oracle, and then they started competing. They were doing something else prior, and
they pivoted
to an Oracle. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I feel like they're taking a good position to be that number 2, and that's always good in an emerging market, because like the number one's always going to eat the cake, but like if you can have like a little piece of the cake or two, and it's a like multi-billion-dollar industry, why not, right? And they're up 2.3% there.
Well, the thing is too, is if Chainlink gets too big, think about that, right? It's going to be hard.
They won't be able to service
them. Yeah, we'll be able to service a little guy, and Pith's taking that strategy.
Yep, very smart. But there's also other competitors I know that are in that industry, but Pith seems to be kind of standing out amongst the other ones. 8chain up 4.3%, Dashcoin up 3.3%, Sandbox up 2.2%, and Core DAO, another Bitcoin layer 2, up 1.9%. Dog Go to the Moon is in the green, but it's only up 0.6%, but better than being down. That is for sure. You got Brett up 2% on the base chain. Pulse X, a little bit smaller today, but still in the green, 0.3% increase there. Gala, man, you don't hear too much about them these days. They're up 3.2%. Yeah, that's gonna wrap up the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the crypto bubbles. Hopefully that helped you guys out. I'm gonna pass this Shizzy to do some roll call.
Let's do it. So on this show, we do a thing called First is First. Where is roll call? There it is. All right, we do a thing called First is First. You got it? Oh, cool. All right. So the first comment of today, I didn't even see who it was. Webdro, we got it again. Shout out to Webdro. Let me lock you in on the paper so I don't forget. So if you guys don't know, we take the first comment of the show, we put it on a spreadsheet. I'll show the spreadsheet when I get back on Monday, because I can't show my screen right now because I'm only on one monitor. Oh crap. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So WebDro was that first comment of the day. Shout out to WebDro. Appreciate you, my friend. Followed by True. What's that? Oh, it's
True the art.
True the art, BDC. Yo, gentlemen, good job. Stay strong, 100%. Rare Sots Dom is here. Appreciate Rare Sots. Mats is here. 1 equals X is here. Shout out to you, my friend. He said the heat is building. I feel it, man. I do feel it. Even Bitcoin dropped a little bit. I still feel super bullish. Merlin's Lucky is here. Shout out to Merlin's Lucky. Lackey Lukey says congrats, WebDro. Shout out to Lackey Lukey, man. 1+ ad is here. KDN is here. Hydro Sapien is here. Shout out to Hydro Sapien. Super fan is here. GM, my guy. Mark is here. Shout out to Mark from Launch Punks. Are you guys still building over there, Mark? Like, I'm just curious, man. I haven't really heard much from you guys. Would love to know with some updates or anything. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out that Cash Cats, the legend himself. Absolutely awesome. And then we got Choda is here. Shout out that Choda. He says, up only, fellas. BTC 150K in August. I'm down, bro. That's only $1 trillion. You can get that trillion. But shout out to you. Amazing. Claudia is here, says GM. How the market treats you, punk. Yeah. The market treats what call me a punk? No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you, my friend. Rune World is here. Shout out to Rune. Thanks you so much for the repost, guys. If you're on X, if you guys wouldn't mind reposting it really, really helps us. Thank you so much for that, Rune World. No is here. Let's F and go. GM Legends, my guy. Appreciate you. Followed by Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine himself, every single day, man. Really appreciate you. He said, Bull Moon starts today, boys. I loaded up on Fartless. Full ported my whole ME airdrop. Wow. What do you say to that?
Wow. Did you? Man, that's
how's Fartless doing?
Well, I mean, I think it was at around 2 million. 1.1 it's at $1.8 million market cap right now, but you must have got a lot of airdrops to port it there. I'm not saying that Fartless is not gonna do great, but it's a derivative, right? But they are getting a lot of support from their community. It's a big community. They had like 3,000 people in the community over there. So I'm interested to see where it goes. But interesting that you just did all of it into one thing like that.
100%. Then we have Patty Poo again. It says Solana Soul Strategies. Kathy Wood Ark Investments is a huge buyer of it. Yeah, I heard about that. She's buying Soul Strategies, which is they're buying Soul and staking it. Kathy Wood is staking it herself using I think Soul Strategies actually. So Kathy Wood has a big Woody for HODL. Oh, all right.
Wow.
Katie Ensign's great book. He's talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, that book really changed my life, dude. I'm not even going to lie. Super fan says Patty Poo. Claudia says you can see we are all in a bull or something upward based on your likes for the show, guys. During the hard times, we barely got 10 likes, now 7. Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. We got like 90 people over on YouTube. It is absolutely amazing. 101 people over on YouTube. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Yeah, alert us when you are all-time high views. Yeah, we'll let you know. We just got ways to go. When we first started streaming, we would get like really
1 to 3.
Yeah, it was nice. No, when we first started in June of last year of 2024. Yeah, we went full time live streaming. I think we were getting like 700 people a day. I remember, if I remember correctly. But that was when people
got exhausted. They got exhausted waiting for number go up, and
it was hard, man. It's been over a year now of sideways. Stan says Tom Lee becoming Michael Saylor, coming from Michael Saylor's crown. He could, dude. Tom Lee, they could pass Saylor in value if they do this correctly. So we'll see.
I agree, man.
KDN says, you think it's setting up for a run when the cut happens? Weekly MACD seems like it. Yeah, I mean, markets are forward looking, so we just gotta think we're getting the cut, and I think we're gonna get a giant run, right?
Yeah, that's why I think like second half of August, because it's still forward looking, anticipating that we're going to get that in September. So, I think that would make sense to me, at least. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think I think we're starting to move up. I think it's going to take a week though. I think it's going to be sideways this weekend, and then maybe Sunday we get some bullishness. But I think the real bullishness happens the 17th of August, which is not this Sunday, the following Sunday, but we'll see. Tim Baker says, let's go. KDN is here. Patty Poo says 2K in at 1.5 million market cap. Damn, there you go. That's a win because you're already up there. Claudia says, Shizzy, you're a cyberpunk. Thank you so much. I like it. I like it. And then Claudia says, we need to break those numbers from last year. Yeah, we'll get there. I think it was like last June. By like August, though, it started to drop drastically. Tom Lee said, sad, but velocity is his moat. He's 12x the speed of Michael Saylor.
So Tom Lee's in his moat so basically he's saying that he's 12x the rate that Saylor was at.
I mean,
so to get to where he is the TVL, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we'll see. And he's earning, right? He's earning 6% yield. Saylor says he's earning yield, but those numbers are, I don't know how he's getting that yield. But shout out to every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. It means so much to us. Really appreciate every single one of you guys.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned before, we do have Jake coming up here, but let me get that one thing. We're gonna actually go over some we're gonna go over a little bit of a controversial topic here. I gotta pull it back up. Sorry, man. I realized that I got that back down. But the topic is, are Odin runes actually the same as like the regular Bitcoin runes? And there it is. So before I pull up, what Bob Bodley posted, right? Which, by the way, we both have immense respect for Bob Bodley. He's been in this ecosystem. We had the pleasure of meeting him in person at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, and he's just a really smart dude that knows a lot about Bitcoin, how it works, but he also knows a lot about ICP, and he's probably more knowledgeable even in ICP just because that's where his roots were. And he built Odin.fun, which is a meme launch pad for runes, synthetic runes, I should say. But you can now bridge in and out your runes for the OG runes, and they create new runes. The way that the launch pad works is if you do deploy a rune, it has to hit a bonding curve of a certain percentage, and then that rune gets into the queue to get etched on Bitcoin. So even though it is kind of synthetic, I feel like there are a lot of like native parts to it. So I consider them Bitcoin runes because they can exist in that state as well, and they create that state of the exact synthetic rune. So they're one-to-one. But you might have a different perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think the runes that are created on ICP are ICP runes, right? The ones that are bridged over. I think you are where you're kind of born, right? I think that's kind of, people are, right. I'm an American. I was born in America, but if I go to England, I'm going to be the American, right? The American, right? So if you're Chinese in America, you're considered Chinese American, right? So it's one of those things where I just think that you are from where you're born, and I always will think that the runes that are born on ICP or Odin will always be Odin runes, and the ones that are born on Bitcoin will always be Bitcoin runes. And
what if you move to Bitcoin and you get your Bitcoin citizenship, though? Then are you considered a Bitcoin rune at that point?
If you have more volume on Bitcoin layer 1 than you do the ICP, then yeah, I agree. Then that's how you get citizenship. If you do a full migration to a Bitcoin layer 1, I think that's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you use Jake ICP if you use Emblem Vault and you migrated your token from the ICP liquidity pool to DASWAP liquidity pool, that is how you become. That's a full move. That's an actual move. Otherwise, if you just bridge in, you're just here as a visitor.
A visitor. You just have a green card. You have a visa.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the post. So Bob Bodley says 13 of 20 of the top runes tokens have launched on Odin Fun, and with this mine explosion emoji. Obviously, he's he should be proud of his platform that he created because it's done I think like a ton of volume in terms of Bitcoin. But this is also kind of just making a statement out there like, hey, like we're contributing to a lot of the success. And you can see by the lightning bolts here, you know, of the ones that are successful. And, you know, this is crazy because I don't even remember Odin Pepe. Like, what is Odin Pepe?
It's been a while since we've been over there, though.
Yeah, $88 million, bro. Oh like, what's going on? Way. What is going on Odin.fun, man? Goodness, Odin Pepe is $88 million.
Yeah, dude, 90 million today, bro.
God dang, man. It's so crazy. Like in the beginning, like you know, they don't ever like pop off, and then it takes time, and then they like build it up. I don't know, but okay. So that's the first one at 88.4 million. That's absolutely wild to me. BitCat is something that like was, in my opinion, Chinese cabal, but hey, they made it happen. It's at $35.3 million market cap, and these are with liquidity pools too, guys. So like you're easy to go in and out. So I'm gonna be honest with you, like trading over there is very similar to trading Solana. Like it's very fast. It's very, you know, you can add liquidity, you can earn through adding liquidity pools, etc., etc. And then you have Forseti Scan, which this one to me was just another blow the hell out of my mind because it was so crappy in terms of market cap in the beginning, and like these groups, I guess, are just putting like, look, I mean, it's at $28.9 million market cap. I was in this at like 200 million, and it went to like 60, and I was like, I'm done with this. This is a rug. I'm out. And look at it. If I just held on to that thing, it's at 28.9 million.
Oh my god.
All right, so now let's go to Odin Dog. So this is a prime example of something that, like, you know, was really hot in the very beginning and cooled off, right? And so this is why it's like tough. Sometimes you got to stick with the platforms because they do build audiences, and then you have your Odin Pepes or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Because I'm gonna tell you something, dude. Odin Pepe gets to $1 billion. I'm just saying, it's very close to like only needing to be 10x from that.
Yeah. That's a
lot
of money.
it's a lot of money, but I'm just saying, like, if that were to happen, Odin.fun is solidified. It's already solidified as like a good project, but I'm just saying, like, it will draw more attention, and it will draw attention to runes in general because they'll be like talking about like how there's runes and stuff. Okay, so just really quick to go down the list here, you see Odin Dog, which at one point was 30 million, is now 10.6. I'm sure there's some OGs that are pissed that happened. Odin Fun at 9.9. Then you got Odin Ape at 8.7. BTC. Oops. Let me get out of there. BTC ACD at 8.6. Watt P 7.8. Zyrus, I don't know what these are, 7.6. MX, Mickey 4.8, and Odin Rats at 4.8. But I mean, if you are looking at the top 20, 13 out of 20 are from here. I don't know, man. And then also another thing is $1 Billion Cat lives there. Pups lives there, I think. Mim and Dog both live on Odin.fun. So, like, we talk a lot about, like, what's going to be the home base for runes and all this stuff. But, like, man, there's a lot of stuff happening with Odin.fun with runes. So, like, I mean, how does this change your perspective at all, like, on Odin.fun? Do you feel like this Odin.fun could be the place to trade runes? Decentralized way, even though...
Well, there's still not a lot of liquidity for Dog and Mim and stuff, right? Like last time I checked, it's been a while, but the liquidity for Mim was barely anything. So I mean, I wouldn't trade like the other runes here until liquidity picks up. I mean, wow, there's some huge amounts of liquidity for some of the stuff, which is
that's what I'm saying. Like it's the other ones that have liquidity. Liquidity. You know,
I mean, Odin Pepe has 6.79 million in liquidity. It's crazy. But then you just go down and you don't really see, I mean, anything really like any of the L1s. Like you're going to lose out if you try to sell like anything here, in my opinion, because the liquidity is just going to eat the slippage is going to eat you alive. But yeah, I mean, so originally when I first seen this, I was like, I think I don't know. I can't compare these to the regular runes, or because the communities and stuff like that. Have you ever seen once on your timeline Odin Pepe? Like once?
No. I mean, just with this one. That's it.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like, that was it. Like,
why haven't we seen it? Because there's people that I remember, would talk a lot about, Odin tokens and stuff before, but now like you're seeing that it's just, I mean, this is crazy. Odin Pepe at 90 million. Like I would have never thought that, and you see the volume there, $11 million in volume in 5 months is whenever it first launched. But yeah, I mean, and then some of these don't even have like Billy doesn't have all the liquidity there, so it's not easy to trade. I mean, I know Dog does and Mem do, but the volume on Mem here is 194,000. The volume on Dog is 748, which that's kind of respectable, I guess, for how long it's been there for 2 months, for being such a small environment. But at the end of the day, dude, I mean, they can boast Odin Pepe, bro. It's it's higher than Mem right now.
yeah, it's crazy. It really is. Good for Bob though. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
But I still
also,
don't consider that like a Bitcoin rune.
yeah. So, let me ask you this: does Bob make a strong argument to Kraken to list Odin Pepe, and does Kraken respond to that?
I mean, all Bob has to do is bridge it to Bitcoin, and it's the same standard, right? So, I mean, he could show them the value. He could,
Yeah,
100%. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
definitely, yeah.
I mean, this is the birth of the rune that was born from Odin.fun, right? And you see 21 million is the supply, but it's all in that Odin.fun wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in the Odin.fun wallet. And so, I mean, I actually think that the Bitcoin community, in my opinion, should rally around this, because it is technically a rune, and if they get listed, then other exchanges will want to list runes as well. Now, would they list this rune like the Bitcoin rune version, or would they list the ICP one? Because I don't think you can actually take it out of the ICP environment.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, you could trade the Magic Eden, right? Because all you got to do is bridge and list, right? So,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
you
you can
can add
bridge this and
liquidity to
list. Yeah,
DotSwap.
yeah.
I think if they come over here, they bridge out 25% of the supply and put that in a liquidity pool on DotSwap, I would consider a Bitcoin rune.
Gotcha. Are you gonna be looking over here and seeing if there's anything that like might be popping, like during like when everything is like green lighted and all, everything's flowing, everybody's being degen?
I
Because
think
I
I'd be
mean,
stupid not to at least look.
right, for like some new ones that might pop, man. I mean, I'm just like, where are some low caps over here? I mean, dude, this is the most I've seen with like millions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, you're seeing a lot that have the low millions over here that have opportunities. Like this was not the case before. To get $1 million
Mhm.
market cap over here was tough before. Remember? Now you're
Mhm.
seeing like tons that like Bit Dino. What the hell is that? You know?
Yeah.
So there could be some degen opportunities over here for sure, but we still got about a couple minutes left, and we're waiting on Jake from Emblem Vault, but he's going to be joining us very, very soon. Let's take a look at the Magic Eden runes marketplace real quick, because I want to see, if Magic Internet Money is still holding up. And I know you probably already know off the back of your hand because you've been.
I mean, it's got like 1% from yesterday, so.
How do you feel about it though? Do you feel like it's gonna just it was like it took advantage of yesterday basically, and that was it?
They all did, right? Tapper Wizards was up, Bitcoin Wizards was up, Mim was up. I think a nice 20% pullback is expected, but the only thing that could change that is a Kraken listing, right? I mean, that could send it to fucking Valhalla, dude. It could pass Dog with a Kraken listing. And
What? Oh man, I think you're talking crazy now.
I'm just saying, you could see a massive amount of money come swaying in, just for a little bit. I don't think it passes Dog for a while, but at the initial pump, it could.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only
maybe.
a 3 hours.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, 3x, but like I just feel like dog is just that would be bad for a dog and be bad for
It'd be
runes
terrible
because
for dog if Mim
well,
passed it. Yeah.
yeah, and it would. I mean, like with how big the dog army is and like how many big accounts like support dog, I feel like that would just not be good for runes. Like you
Dude,
got to keep dog.
Mim
You
is
got to keep.
strong, bro.
I know, but you got to keep dog at the top, in my opinion.
I know, but the Mim community, and I've noticed because I've been bull posting them a little bit, and they are, dude, they come in just as strong as the dog community. I'm not even joking. Like they
I
come in
just can't
strong,
believe
dude.
that. I just
Dude,
can't
I'm telling
believe
you,
that.
do it. Do a Mim post. Do a
Do they
Mim
host?
post.
But do they host spaces all the time? Do they like? Are they on that cookie.dao like momentum positive sentiment
No, but
thing?
they have the lore of Maven Spot in that 2013. Like that's something dog doesn't have, right? So yeah, they don't have Leonidas, but they got Maven Spot. They
Well,
have the lore of 2013.
dog has its lore that it's created, like with the rune stones and stuff. But
No,
it's not
yeah,
deep.
I'm not
It's not.
debating
It's
that.
not.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. It's not as deep as what Maven's bot and stuff has done. With that whole thing. And believe me, bro. Like I know, like when you have Ansem, which I know he's in the DGen trenches more, but like he said himself, like that meme connects with him. So
Yeah.
because of the whole crypto and Bitcoin lore to it, but yeah, man.
I'm just saying it wouldn't be a terrible thing for Mim to pass dog. That's all I'm saying because
I think it would be.
Well, I don't know. I'm curious of Jake's opinion on that. So let's end up doing that. So let's jump right into that. So every Friday we like to bring one of our great friends in, and that friend today is the great guys over at Emblem Vault. Emblem Vault, they're building something seriously special. As soon as I can find their thing, boom, got it. All right, so Emblem Vault. Let's talk about them for a second. So they started off in Bitcoin in 2013, building here. They had this thing where they were jumping assets to Ethereum. They started with the rare Pepes, come along to ordinals, stuff like that. They started doing tokens like BRC20s, OXBT. I remember that. For these guys are Bitcoin native, been building here for a long time. Shannon is an expert in AI. So they're building right now. They're building a feature called the Jump feature, and will allow you to jump your ordinals, your NFTs, and pretty much anything that's a non-fungible token over to another chain. Any chain that you would like, they're going to have chains to start out with and eventually go to every chain because they want to be the on-chain moving company. And then they built Agent Hustle. Agent Hustle is changing the way Solana people are trading. They got 1,000 users now over there trading. The volume per trade is up to almost 3 Solana per on average, right? Give or take the day. But these guys are doing really special things. We're allowing AI to help you be better trader, be a better, asset to your portfolio, and really help you, guide you. Obviously not financial advice at all, but it helps you, it guides you to making good decisions. And everyone needs that little guy on your shoulder trying to help you and say, hey, these are the flags, guys. This is the flags, understanding the flags. So that's awesome. But now they've built Migrate.fun. Migrate.fun is absolutely awesome. It's going to allow you to take your LP from pump to bonk, from bonk to pump, or whatever you want to do. Take it to control it yourself. Allow you to pretty much do anything you want. You can take it from base. You can take your LP pool from base to Solana if you want to. These guys are building absolutely amazing stuff. So without further ado, let's bring them in. Let's bring them. Jake, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's good, guys, man? Happy Friday. Always a good time to be here.
Yeah, man.
For sure,
man.
for sure.
So real quick before getting anything, we kind of had two debates. The first one was, do you consider the Odin Fun runes to be the same as Bitcoin runes?
I think we had this conversation actually, maybe 6 months ago when Odin Fund launched?
Yeah.
I would say
what you said, though.
if they're graduated, then technically they're runes, right? Because it gets etched.
Yeah.
The issue becomes, and this is something I brought up when it was launched, and it's no discredit to them or anything, but if you're launching on Odin Fund, then you're essentially stuck or trapped in the ICP ecosystem, which is fine because they're going to be building chain abstracted Bitcoin protocols, right? I saw like Win BTC or Bet BTC had just launched. Obviously, Liquidium's over there and a handful of other ones. But if you're a long-term builder, the opportunity, or I would say the chance at getting a majority of your users to bridge out from ICP is very unlikely to happen. So, it is a real rune. Once it is etched in, You're just using it within the ICP ecosystem. I guess that's kind of like a half-ass answer, but I mean, if it's etched, then it's technically a rune. You're just using the kind of bridge version of it.
Well, would you consider Odin Pepe the number 2 rune behind Dog?
Did you
By
see what
market cap it
Is this what the debate is? Oh, is this like from what Bob's post I saw
Yeah,
was where he's saying like all the top runes are on that?
Well, 13 out of 20, right? And Odin Pepe is at like 90 million, which completely blows my mind. And it actually kind of frustrates me because we were heavy degens in Odin in the beginning, and there was nothing even getting close to like even like 20 or 30 million. And all of a sudden now they have 90.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you look at like the counter examples where this would be in like the Ethereum ecosystem of minting something on Ethereum and then trading it elsewhere. And technically it's from that chain, right? So technically it would be an Ethereum native asset to mainnet. Or like, for example, I guess you could use Emblem Vault, although maybe NFTs are considered different. If you mint something on Counterparty, but then it trades on Ethereum for its lifespan, it's still a counterparty asset at the end of the day, right? So I would say yes, it is, but maybe you're putting an asterisk. I don't know. Maybe it's just too early for this conversation because we're going towards a world where everything's going to be chain abstracted. So most people are just going to be paying attention to where that native asset was minted. Like that's all that matters. And then wherever it trades is kind of doesn't really matter.
Well, let me ask you this. If I did a rune over there, it launched, it got etched, it graduated. Can I use migrate.fun to take it from Odin to DotSwap?
Interesting. So with Odin Fund, they do lock the liquidity pool, right? When it graduates. Yeah. So that's an interesting idea, right? So we would have to collect all of the ICP tokens and then you would sell them all at the same time. So then in return, you would get ICP BTC or whatever it's called over there. And then if you converted it to BTC and deployed a new token, then yeah, you could absolutely
you could bridge that Bitcoin out of there just like you would normally if you deposit. You can withdraw.
Yeah, it would take a few more kind of layers to it, but yeah, entirely possible. Just take some automation for it. Maybe that's a future. We have gotten a handful of people who've asked for Migrate Fund about Bitcoin assets and Ethereum assets. We've had people ask about like Flow and L2s and such like that. For Migrate Fund, it all comes down to the lock liquidity pools, right? So if there's a lock liquidity pool, then Migrate Fund can definitely insert itself and help out in various situations. Obviously, when you get to BTC, it's a little bit more difficult because there's less automation. But when you're getting into things like ICP for the kind of Bitcoin L2 ecosystems, like that automation is available. It would just take a little bit more development to have to look into the ecosystem to see, what are the technicals and such. Is the thing with runes or with ICP, is it like pissing off all the native runes people that are like, these are not runes because therefore it trades on ICP?
I don't think so. I think it's more of Bob probably trying to take advantage of the attention that runes has recently been getting, which like is completely smart in my opinion, like from a marketing perspective, and just reminding, maybe the Krakens get to see it or something like that, and it says 13 out of the top 20 rune market caps are on Odin, and people be like, what's that even, and they can look further into it. So I just think it's Bob taking advantage of an opportunity right now, which he should 1,000% do. I think Odin doesn't get enough credit for what it is. He does a ton of volume over there, and he has coming on the first $100 million token, right? That he can boast and say this is a Bitcoin rune, and if you guys don't believe me, we can bridge some up over to layer 1 or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, for my perspective, it is a rune. I mean, just looking at emblems kind of use cases, like these are counterparty assets, these are ordinals, etc. I guess it gets a little bit ambiguous if the user themselves did not do the minting on the layer 1, right? So like everyone who's using Emblem is minting these, right? And then doing it and then kind of bridging them over. We were going to build a tool which was like an etch, or which was like an inscribe and vault tool for people who wanted to just immediately have it bridged over. And that would be the kind of same situation where if you're not actually doing the etching for the rune, right, then maybe it feels, you know, less like a rune, although it really is. It's kind of just sitting in this like escrow contract for redemptions, although the redemptions to go back natively don't really ever happen. So it just feels much differently. But
yeah,
I can understand from both sides where people are upset or are not upset, or maybe they think that, you know, he's just kind of using the recent runes attention of native trading to kind of amplify his own ecosystem, which, hey, if it's there, might as well. It is ambiguous and people are going to have differing opinions on it.
Yeah, 100%. And we love Bob, right? But with Bob, somebody that we definitely treasure his opinion and everything like that. So I'm down for whatever he's building, right? So that he's definitely earned his spot, and you know, whatever he's doing in ICP. I mean, it's not like he hid the fact that he's an ICP guy, right? He was an ICP guy from the very beginning. So it's one of those things where he's building something that he likes, and maybe Odin Pepe is the number 2 rune. I don't know.
Why? What's the market? What's the market cap of it?
90 million.
Oh shit.
And I mean, and the way they pack liquidity over there, bro, it's like heavy and thick. Like, so you're talking about like
6 million.
Like their top runes have a lot of liquidity in them, and they do it strategically so that like the Jeets can't just beat down the market cap so much, you know, which is smart. And if you have control over like a small environment at first like that, you can really build like a decent like a good reputation of strong meme tokens and stuff. So we'll see what happens over there. So congratulations to Bob, you know, reaching that. I know he's gonna be really happy once they actually hit 100 million, because I'm 10 million away. I'm sure it's gonna happen. And he has a group of like believers over there, and a lot of them are from China, and they, you know how they like to play with their tokens and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. And that's also, to me, it's like, how do they split the Chinese community between the Alkanes and Odin, man? That's weird to me. It's like, I mean, China's a big country, I guess. So
China is a big country. There's a lot of people there, a lot of you know, a lot of degens, just a lot of people who want to trade frictionlessly and they want to be associated with the Bitcoin ecosystem in some way, right? There was a big Asian community for Merlin, big Asian community for ICP. For Alkanes, they just love Bitcoin, and they actually don't care how it's packaged as long as there's some tangential relation to it. And you know, I don't blame them as well, right? They want the sovereign security of Bitcoin, but they want the programmability of a smart contract engine, and people are doing it in different ways, whether it's Alkanes or BRC 2.0 or ICP or Near or Emblem or whoever it is. And it's only going to continue to proliferate, and the ambiguity is only going to increase. But as new users come into crypto, they're not going to care, and it's becoming more prevalent every day. I mean, just looking at like the people who are using Agent Hustle, for example, there's a lot of these people who have no idea about anything of crypto. Like, I've been messaging this guy who's in his 50s who stumbled across Agent Hustle somehow, and he has no idea about any of this shit, right? About what's a layer 1, what's a layer 2, anything. He just knows that this AI that he's talking to is helping him trade. And so there's going to be a lot more, literally to the billions of people like that. And they're not going to care if it's Bitcoin or if it's not. They're just going to kind of have the trust assumptions, and then all the nerds like us can kind of debate it out for them.
Yeah. That's so bullish, though, that you had a 50-year-old person come across Hustle and be like, you know, it's helped me so much because, you know, first of all, they don't know the space very well, but now they're trading without, you know, having.
Yeah, he said that he could leave the hood now, is literally what his words said to me, is that he found Tensorium, I think around like under $1 million, and bought it, and then has just been kind of following along and using Hustle since like before we even had the DeFi capabilities. So he was like Agent Hustle V1 era. And as it progressed, he's built this memory with him over the months, and he's literally now made money to help him move and help, I think he said, pay for his his daughter's college or something, or schooling or something like that. So you get those wins, and he has literally no idea about how any of the shit works. He just knows that this AI that he's talking to is helping him trade.
That's awesome. Love it. Love it. All right. So let's get a little market feel from you. You know, Ethereum obviously touched 4K today. People have been waiting for it. I feel like August is going to be a bullish month for Ethereum. If you zoom out on the monthly chart, it screams that to me. Are you feeling that as a builder? You're obviously been in the Solana trenches building, but what are you getting from a sentiment standpoint?
It's bullish. I mean, we've talked about this consistently. For me, it was once the ETH is over $3,000 and stays there for a few weeks, like it's just going to be risk on. It seems like a lot of people got washed out over this last weekend with fearfulness. They thought it was all over, and turns out it was exactly just the complete opposite, a gigantic shakeout. Now ETH is over 4K. As long as the Ethereum Foundation doesn't dump it into oblivion, like I think it's good. And we're going to see, I think, a lot of ICOs, a lot of TGEs, and a lot of new launches over the latter half of Q3 and beginning of Q4. Because if you're an Ethereum if you're an EVM project and you've been holding off on your TGE, if you don't launch it within the next 2-3 months, like you literally missing the biggest window of opportunity ever as Ethereum crosses its all-time high and continues to grow. And obviously that's bullish for the Solana ecosystem. That's bullish for ordinals and runes. Any type of alt ecosystem is going to have a lot of success. I guess it's trying to bet on which one goes higher out of all of them. Because once it gets into Boltard season, right, it's literally about picking who is the fastest horse, not which horse is going to cross the finish line. Because they all are going to at some point. It's just finding out which one's going to be the fastest one.
Yeah, and the ETH Foundation is now dumping OTC. They're not dumping on the market anymore. They're selling the Sharp Link. They're selling to this new one that just popped up today, and they're selling to Tom Lee, right? So they no longer have to go and dump it in the market because these guys are buying it up and they're staking it. I mean, we're potentially going to be looking at 40 to 50% of the ETH, circulating, going to be staked, because these guys they realize that getting 51% of the staked ETH will allow you and your buddies to control the chain. Not one company will be able to do it, but let's just say a group of 6 could do it, right? Sharp Link, Tom Lee, and they could actually control the layer 1 that all these L2s finalize on.
Yeah. I guess the Ethereum treasury companies is the biggest bullish catalyst for Ethereum, because you're getting all the legacy KOLs coming out and building treasury companies and starting to show their bags, right? Like Tom Lee and such, which is great. And those are going to be the most attractive people to the boomer class, because they're familiar with these talking heads who have been on CNBC and Fox and such for decades at this point. And if they tell them that Ethereum is bullish, then they're going to buy it, right? Just as like everyone's favorite Ansem or Murad or meme coin chiller, right? The boomers have the same idea, and now they're getting into the trenches and talking about it. And a lot of the Ethereum is getting gobbled up by these treasury companies, and it'll be held and staked, which is good, which means the price goes up, which means more risk on, and people are going to continue to speculate. I think it's going to be pretty good for the L2 ecosystems on ETH here, right? Like Abstract is probably something that I would be looking into. The Arbitrum ecosystem, because they've got Robinhood now, and then obviously Base has been continuing to crush it in a few various areas, although it's been kind of pushed for the last year or so. So I don't know how much energy is really left there, to be honest. But
for Base?
For Base, I mean, you have like things like Banker has been running like crazy. Virtuals has been running. They've been doing the Zora kind of stuff for a while. So those are kind of their 3 areas on Base is AI, launch pads with Clinker, and the creator coin stuff. But I don't think anyone else has really been trading in much of the other L2 ecosystems outside of Abstract. So, right, maybe Anime Chain gets a bid, maybe Ape Chain gets a bid. Maybe some of these other ancillary ones start getting bids, but it all trickles back down to, I think, like Runes and the Bitcoin ecosystem, and also Solana as well with the various applications.
Yeah, at the end of the day, ETH just is all ETH is right now is that leading indicator. It's the indicator of telling us bull on or bull off, right?
They hit the highest level of transactions volume ever today.
Who
I
did?
saw that Ethereum on chain. I was actually shocked. We talked about it yesterday that they were close to it. Today they actually, or I guess we're talking 24 hours of data before, so maybe it was more like 48 hours yesterday, and then or for 48 hours when we reported it from yesterday, and then 24 hours from now. But anyways, regardless, they hit it, and we were just like, how is this happening? And their DEX volume is high. They're doing almost $3 billion a day in DEX volume right now. The Tether is earning a substantial amount of fees on Ethereum's blockchain right now. So it has to be a lot of stable yielding from these institutions that just aren't talked a lot about. And they're preparing for something, either it's like institution to institution earning, or preparing something for their clients. I don't know, but that's
It's
what
so weird because
data.
Gwei it's less than one Gwei.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
It's because everyone's on L2s, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's trading and off chain, right, with the treasury companies and such. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be a normal. I mean, you'll see maybe spikes to 20, 30 Gwei, 40, but I think the days of like 100 Gwei are pretty much over outside of like a few special circumstances.
I also think that we forget about how powerful the attention economy is, and like we know about it in crypto Twitter, but we haven't seen anything yet, in my opinion. I think crypto Twitter is actually relatively small still compared to like the world when you think about like just other trending like industries, right? And so I think like abstract, I think does very well in the future because Luca Netz is great at business and attention economy. And I think that we're going to start to see some of these companies come in to some chains that weren't really talked much about, that might be small, and they're good at the attention economy. You know what I mean? And they get people over there, and the monetary value just can naturally mix in with attention economy. If you're good with that, you can get monetary value.
The thing though is that like most of the Zoomers are trading on Solana, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, right? So you have to onboard the older generations, right? Millennials like ourselves, or Gen X, or boomers. And I don't see, I mean, you'll probably get a bunch of millennials still trading Solana, but some of the older people are going to either trade the stock market, which is off chain, right? Or you get some millennials who are going to come in and build infrastructure and such. But from kind of where everything is going, Solana, I think, still continues to dominate in terms of the transactional layer. Ethereum is becoming the settlement layer, and you're getting a bunch of Wall Street type companies coming in and building their L2s, right? Like Robinhood and such. And that'll only continue to proliferate. I saw like Gemini is building an L2 now.
Oh, really? Winklevi.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. These exchanges have to get on chain. The on chain volumes are almost the same at the same level as they are centralized exchanges. The exchanges are cooked, and they're trying to extract as much money as they can before they finally become obsolete here probably by the end of the decade. And if they're not catching on, then they're cooked.
But I also think that like the chains can kind of mimic a little bit of the social app success trajectories that we've seen, right? So like I think Facebook is still considered like the most used social app, right? But I think it's used by all age ranges. The Zoomers typically don't mess with it, but like you're talking about millennials and up, some Zoomers, and so I think there'll be a chain for the people that like Facebook. There'll be a chain for the people that like Instagram. There'll be a chain, not direct correlation, but those mindsets. And I agree. I think Solana has captured the Zoomers, but Zoomers are so easy to like redirect to something else. They're like gnats.
I don't think so, man. They're very tribalistic in their culture. I think Solana just continues.
The Gen Zers.
Yeah, I don't see why Gen Z would leave to go anywhere else. They basically have a home.
What if all the streamers decided to start their own chain? Like you're talking about Speed, you're talking about Aiden, Ross, you're talking about all them.
We're talking about a digital country here, right? That's like getting up and migrating, right? This gets into the kind of migration ideas that I was talking about. I was talking about this yesterday. And this is like this with AI, right? So like the moat of AI is memory, just like the moat of social media is engagement. And the longer that you stay the longer you build context with an AI agent for your memory, or the longer you build an account on a social media platform, the less likely you are to leave, because then you have to start all over. It's the same thing with the blockchain, right? Why do all the Bitcoin maxis stay on Bitcoin, or why do the Ethereums continue to support Ethereum, even though, you know, the technology is far less superior than what it is in Solana? It's tribalism, right? And Zoomers have commoditized the chain, and they've turned it into essentially Silicon Valley type experience. At least from almost the year that I've been split building there, it's very fast, move fast, break things, high generation revenue, high attention, win at all costs. It's very similar to Silicon Valley. I don't know why they would just get up and leave and go somewhere else. It doesn't make sense when you basically won. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but we also, I think all of us on here agree that we're going to be going into like a cross-chain type of situation as more and more consumers come on chain and stuff like that. So there will be a point, right, where it breaks a bit to where you can do things from Solana on here, or from, base on there, or et cetera, where there'll be like these highly versatile products, just like Hustle, right, to be able to do these things for people so they don't have to jump around and stuff. That might be more for onboarding new people in society, because they don't want all the difficulty of learning new things and stuff. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, abstraction is obviously where the normies are coming in, right? You could do the abstraction through AI, like what we're doing with Agent Hustle. You could do token abstraction, like we're doing with Emblem Vault, or you could do chain abstraction, which is like something that Abstract, the chain, is attempting to do, right? That is targeting normies, but everyone has a home, right? We're US residents. Our ID is from the United States. The crypto economy is no different, where everyone believes they have a home somewhere, whether it's Solana, Ethereum, or Bitcoin, which is probably 90% of the majority. Obviously, people, feel like they have a home on XRP, or they have a home on Cardano, but they will go and, experiment or travel to other countries, just as we do in the real world. But it doesn't take away where you consider you to be from. And so I just think, like, this generational idea that has attracted people to different chains, right? Boomers to Bitcoin, millennials and Gen X to Ethereum, and the Zoomers to Solana. I just don't see that changing anytime soon. Obviously, you have like the alpha generation that may come in and want something like Sui or something like that. And there's going to be a longer tail of chains, or digital nations that are going to, I guess you would say, have adoptions from different various groups, right? So like gamers are probably going to go adopt a certain type of chain. You'll have, segmentation of the alpha generation probably wanting to find something, and you'll probably find, maybe 5 to 10 more chains that are going to get these kind of little niches. But I think where we are in crypto today is the majority, like, I think Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana continue to command the majority of the mind share and the majority of net new users until something really changes. I just don't see anything. I mean, with the proliferation of L2s, you have these little mini nations or states that are within the country of Ethereum.
I love that. Yeah.
And those are just going to continue to be specialized and adopt their user bases, right? Why is Gemini building an L2? Why does Coinbase have an L2? Why is Robinhood building an L2? Because they have users already. And so they're not going to take their users on a separate blockchain. They're going to use it for an L2 that they can combine. And then if they grow large enough, then they'll turn it into an L1. So I think there is some kind of room for the taking. Again, I think gamers is a gamer chain is probably the next big layer 1 blockchain to take like a majority of users, because I don't think gamers really have a home yet in terms of the crypto space.
Sonium, right? So Sonium.
There's Sonium, there's Ronin, right? There's a handful. There's a handful of these.
What has Sonium done though?
They're still in the early stages.
And Sonium's an extension of Sony, right? So again, they have users, right? You see these traditional companies, or even you could say traditional crypto exchanges, they have users. So they don't need an L1, nor do they probably want to operate it. They're just going to funnel them to this L2 that they can completely program, that has an existing community of Ethereum supporting them. And so you could kind of capture both of those within one, right? Then starting a whole new L1, starting L1s. You're seeing this with a lot of the new chains like Monad and Sui and Barachain and what there's like the IP chain, Story Chain, and some of these other ones. Like it takes now years to build an L1 to get adoption and billions of dollars, because you can't just launch an L1 now, at least for the majority of them. You can't just launch an L1 and hope people come. You have to literally build out the entire casino. You have to have the marketing set up. You have to have all these backroom deals lined up and such. And that's only going to continue to grow, right? The next wave of new layer ones, they're going to have a treasury strategy now, right? Like they're going to have all these new kind of features that are coming to it. So the majority of chains, I think, is quite ossified for now until I see something else change. But I do think like the gamer blockchain is probably the next big one, whenever that is. It looks like to me it might be Sui.
Wow.
But to be determined.
It's seriously whoever gets Pokemon. Whoever gets Pokemon on chain, I think wins.
But that has to be a legal deal, though, right?
It has to be an IP deal, yeah.
Yeah. So, which, by the way, we have yet to really seen huge IP deals. The only things that we've really seen IP come out of our space has been created here, with like Pudgy and Bored Ape and stuff like that. So, once the IPs come over to our space, I think, whenever people say we're early, that you can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I guess personally, I'm not that bullish on IP and crypto. I mean, maybe the Web 2's coming in and trying to, work a deal and do kind of tokenization through that way. But what we've seen so far throughout the history of crypto is that if it's a native IP, being able to protect that IP is very tough. We've seen these through lawsuits. We've seen this through practice, that things are just going to get copy pasted all over. And CCO seems to be the dominant form. And those who have tried to protect their IP on chain have just horrifically failed across the board.
Is that true though? Because I feel like there's been some lawsuits that have gone through whenever it's direct IP infringement though.
From what I've seen, if you're speaking on like the Ryder Ropes one, they just won their appeal. So they're technically winning in this capacity. I don't know if there's any other ones. I mean,
so you can't protect your IP if you start on chain with it.
I'm just saying, like from what I've seen, if there's IP on chain, it gets copy pasted as a derivative on every other chain, and there's no way to defend it from that. We've seen Yuga Labs try to defend this in multiple areas and just completely fail across the board through traditional lawsuits, through the Bitcoin punks, through Bitcoin apes failing on that mechanism as well. And so, the IP angle in crypto is to go CC0 and allow the idea to proliferate and to try to build it in that capacity. I mean, I haven't seen any success stories yet of a traditional company coming in and being able to have success of tokenizing their IP in some capacity. I'm more on the lines that crypto is a CC0 economy, and trying to protect that IP in some capacity has just been a complete losing strategy so far across the board. Could change, but again, right, something like Pokemon, for example, they ink a deal with Sui, and now they're going to be tokenizing their Pokemons, and they become like the official, right? These Sui tokens become like the official Pokemon tokens or whatever. But that doesn't mean that now all of these, what's going to happen right after that is all of these Pokemon tokens are just going to be derivatives on every other chain. And if Pokemon tries to come in and silence that through lawsuits, it's just gonna spread the idea even more to where it just goes across more chains. And so I think IP just has to be looked at through different lens and through a different approach. And I just don't think there's a lot of crossover between the traditional IP enforcement and what I've seen on chain so far.
Yeah, we're going to need rules and regulations to kind of get passed, and then maybe we'll see different stuff. But we're definitely going to need potentially, the Congress or the Senate to come in to make new rules, or the SEC to make new rules for this type of stuff, right? In order, because that's how you're going to get real adoption, when there's real laws and real stuff to kind of make sure that no one does copy and paste your stuff without new stuff. But you're all right. Maybe it doesn't happen in that cycle. But
I just think the typical rule of law in crypto just has failed enforcement across the board has just failed horrifically. You know, from I guess you'd say from IP enforcement to business deals to I guess you would say criminal practice, right? To tax enforcement, to regulations. Like,
True.
The internet is just the wild, wild west. And I'm not saying that that it should be kind of this lawless ecosystem, which you know, I guess is to be determined. But this is just such a new economy. This idea of an ownership layer of the internet, and it just does not mesh well with the typical rule of law. I mean, I've been in this space for 9 years, and there's still no clarity bill. Like, there's still no market regulatory bill, right? Literally 10 years later since I've been in the industry, and they're just doing it now, and they're trying to create this structure for traditional companies to participate here. They're not making laws and rules of crypto native companies that have existed, because it's impossible to enforce, because they were built on different regulatory rails or lack of regulatory rails. So they're literally just creating rules for traditional companies to come in and participate in this kind of lawless land. And this is why they actually came out and said things like NFTs and meme coins are collectibles, because they know that there's no way to enforce it on a global level.
True. 100%.
Well, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I think that, like, that's what we've experienced, right? Because of previous administrations, that just their incentive was to make us constantly guess that they were incentivized to do that, whether without getting too deep into it, from a globalist agenda or whatever, banking institutional agenda. But if you look back to the early 2000s, we had a similar situation with the file sharing boom that happened with LimeWire and with all these things. Yes, you couldn't stop it necessarily from a mass execution standpoint, but you did make examples of people by raiding their homes and been doing stupid stuff for taking their hard drives and stuff like that, which did eventually shut down Napster as a company, like, completely. Right. And LimeWire and BeraShare, or Bera, whatever the hell they were called, BearShare, all those things. And so I think there's a way to do, like, if they want to really, like, get extremely, like, hands-on with it, but it might not be, like, a great experience, because, like, the last administration, people could say, well, that's kind of what they did. No, they didn't, because the file sharing boom in the early 2000s was very black and white. You can't do this or you'll go to jail.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of a different situation. And yeah, you could say the last administration did enforcement by, I guess you would say, consequences, right? Or
fear.
Or fear. But the game theory that's tied into crypto to where it's on a global level, there's a reason that the current administration, the Trump administration, is going for deregulation of AI and crypto, is because they know that trying to just regulate it to death is a losing battle. Not only will crypto find and AI find ways out of this box that they're trying to put it in, but then it lands into the hands of their competitors and competing nations. And so the only thing forward is deregulation. Obviously, they have to, like, grow the GDP past the debt deficit, which is part of the reason. But I just think the internet and this idea of tokenizing it, which allows ownership, is just a completely different beast, which as of today has been impossible to defeat from any nation. I mean, you go even further back with, like, this idea of, like, geofencing and stuff like that. They try to geofence and keep, transactions within a government, but then with geofencing, VPNs pop up, and it just becomes this, like, game of cat and mouse. And there will always be technologies that will always find a way to circumvent regulation. So the only thing to do is to try to guide with it and to participate. And this is kind of what we're seeing now with the U.S., with the current U.S. administration. And we can see on the other side that China has been losing at it. How many times have they banned crypto? They just banned it again a week ago. right? This has happened like 50 times since I've been in the industry. So, you know, you can continue to ban it and it'll continue to pop up. And so I just think that when it comes to IP and crypto and also traditional companies coming in, like the regulation is for them to participate in this wild, wild west. It's not it's not a regulation as much of like these crypto native companies that now have to create a rule. Maybe it's for the traditional or for the crypto native companies to participate in the traditional world. But putting a rule set on the internet, I think, is just a losing battle.
No, I agree 100%. Well, let's jump over to Hustle. So I seen you actually tweet you know, a little bit ago that you guys one, you guys have over 1,000 users now, and two, I think it was last week you said that you guys are above 3 Solana for some transaction stuff. Can you kind of get into that a little bit?
Yeah, Agent Hustle growth has been quite well. When we launched V3 on the 16th, so the day after the migration or the Hustle migration was over, we launched this whole new system, this whole new tracking system as well. And so we basically reset our stats and wanted to essentially find the real users. We've been kind of harping on this for a long time, but when we started getting deeper into the AI world and networking, there were so many teams that we came across that said they have 1 million users or 100,000 active users and all of this kind of bullshit analytics. And we just all see right through it and just know that none of that was completely true. So we wanted to get to the heart of it and figure out who the real users are so that we can actually have a direct line of communication with them and to figure out what our power users want. So we installed this new feature where to track a unique user, they have to at least initiate one prompt so that we know that it's not just a bot. It's people coming in and actually typing away. And then from there, we can see, you know, how many transactions they've done and all this kind of like ancillary data. So as of today, yeah, we just hit 1,040 unique users who have initiated at least one prompt from there. So that's in about 3 weeks or so. 40,000 prompts have happened in that time as well,
Wow,
which is a lot. And trading volume is now pretty much consistently over 10 grand per day.
Nice.
Which is
10
good. Yeah.
grand.
10 grand a day
Good
in
for
trading
you.
volume. Yeah. It means that people are feeling a lot more comfortable with using AI. People are filling their strategies and the technology is working a lot better. I mean, there's still some bugs within the conditional trading system that we're trying to work out. There's still kind of ancillary things with kind of small stuff, but the 3 main features of Agent Hustle, which is the toolbox, the memory, and the conditional trade, these are the 3 things that are going to set us up for the future and is actually what's attracting other companies, other chains that we've talked into, other foundations coming in and saying, hey, we see the vision here. We realize that with Agent Hustle, this completely eliminates the bridging experience. And if a user can interact with our blockchain simply through an LLM experience and switch between chains with the click of a button, then we want part of this. And so, yeah, we've actually signed a deal with the top 50 blockchain, or not signed, but we're in conversations with a top 50 blockchain by market cap who wants this experience. And so we assume that once I think this is public and they see what we can do, there's probably going to be a lot of other ancillary companies who want to participate with Agent Hustle. And then we also announced, well, I wouldn't say we, but the Pond community, H Wonderland, announced meta models and they tagged myself and Shannon in it as the contributors to their meta models program, which is using Agent Hustle to some degree as kind of like a B2B partnership there. And so from there, we suspect that should increase our daily active users by 5 to 10x through the first trial run, and then could potentially increase it by 20, 30x from there. And that kind of builds onto the idea of using Agent Hustle APIs to basically take Agent Hustle, plug them into your system, and you can apply your own context, your own APIs, your own tooling on top of that, and kind of really proliferate there. That's where the business is made. That's where billions of dollars are made, just as OpenSea's done with Seaport, just as like Chainlink has done with their oracles, right? Just as like Uniswap has done with their kind of LP system. And these kind of ideas continue to proliferate on and on and on. And we definitely want to be there with Agent Hustle. And it just feels good now that we're getting a lot of people coming in and using it, feeling more comfortable. We did hit at one point, there was like, I think there was one day of trading where the average trade was like $800, which was pretty crazy. I think it's now dropped back down to maybe 100 or two. I'll have to look into it, but this is significantly up from $15 in March, which was the average trade when we first enabled trading capability. So, you know, the average trade is going close to 10x in 4 months. I suspect that to continue to grow, maybe evens out as more users come in, as we extend to more chains and such. But it's very positive signs. And I still believe that, you know, it's pretty much Agent Hustle and Banker, in my opinion, for competing as the top AI systems. I like Hanon is great as well. But in my opinion, and from the users that I see and from the people who interact with us, there is a pretty big crossover between Banker and Agent Hustle, whereas we're kind of the big dogs on Solana and Banker is the one for EVM. And obviously both of us will continue to expand into all these other chains. And I think the market is large enough to where you could probably have 5 to 10 of these really come and win. And because I think the market cap of this kind of industry of using AI is as the portal to crypto is probably in the like tens or hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years. So we're in this focus of collaboration and working with teams and working with our community to see what we want. And we want to pick up, kind of final point here is we want to pick up a lot of these ancillary communities who have been kind of fragmented by technology and quote unquote hard to get. And what I mean by that is we'll use like the pawn community, for example. There's communities like this that basically only participate in their own ecosystem. They're not part of like the typical kind of liquidity ball that circulates back and forth between Abstract to Solana to meme coins, right, to NFTs. And it's just the same liquidity that just continues to rotate. We would like to target people and work with communities like that, like Pond, where they're looking for collaborations, right? They've been kind of isolated and they need certain types of technologies for that to happen. And so I think, you know, with what we have with Agent Hustle, and because it's built on Emblem Vault, we have the ability to interact with any blockchain. And therefore is literally hundreds of billions of dollars of these communities like XRP, like Cardano, like Stacks, right? These ones that are hard to get to because people don't want to bridge. We can literally just make a switch of a button and you could flip back and forth on Agent Hustle between Solana, ETH, Abstract, XRP, you know, whatever you want. And that's kind of the future that we're building.
Incredible. With the Pond integration, is there an ETA with that? Is that like fourth quarter, Q1 next year?
That is going to be a decision for the Pond team to make.
Gotcha.
It's, you know, for us, we're kind of in this situation with a lot of things, right? Like obviously Pond has been announced with Migrate Fund, right? People know that we're working with Radium and obviously with Bonk as well. Although, you know, 3 of these teams have not made like an official announcement. So we build tools and teams talk with us and we put the tools out and we bring our community with and we continue to build and we say, hey, you know, we would like for co-marketing and branding and such. And we're going to continue to build. And until you show us that support, we're just going to continue to expand to other teams. And so, you know, we don't have an exclusive relationship or partnership with any of these teams, although we're open to those type of ideas. But until people show us the attention and the interest in that type of stuff, we're just going to continue to expand everything.
I love it, man. I love that attitude too, because it's kind of like you guys show us that you want us, right? It's not, we're not here to impress anyone. We're here to just build something amazing and really cool, and to the point where you can't deny us anymore. I love it.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm somewhat kind of over the whole charade of social signaling and such, right? Yeah. I've been building in this space now for 3 years. I've been in it for almost 10, and I've talked with pretty much every single team you can, right? From the Yuga Labs to the L2 builders, right? To the DEX providers. So I've talked with the majority of them. And there's this kind of like subtle gate or social gating that happens, where if you're not part of this like certain VC circle, that they don't support you, or part of the certain influencer circle or whatever. And you know, we're currently outside of that, and we're going to work with people who want to work with us. That's kind of what it is at the end of the day. You know, if you haven't hurt somebody, if you're not violent and you're just a team who's building and has a community and you want to work with us, then we're willing to work with you at the end of the day. And I'm tired of getting turned down by VCs. I'm tired of getting turned down by builders just because we're not part of their social circle. So they're either going to have to work with us, or we're just going to have to run them over.
Oh wow.
Let's go.
No, that's a strong, what a strong statement to end the week, by the way.
Well,
no, I'm not talking about
a few
the
more. Oh,
yeah, I'm
okay.
not talking about the episode. Say the strong statement to end the week, because it is Friday. But I was gonna say with it's worked. It's worked for you guys though, because you just announced, without going into too much detail, that a top 50. And I know who you're talking about, but like it's more than top 50. I think I would probably say they're probably 25 to 30, but the chain is integrating you guys. And then the SDK aspect of it, because you guys have built this to work with an SVM, but it is an AI model. It's not hard for you guys to have like an SDK for the SVM builder, and an SDK for the EVM builder, et cetera, right?
Yeah, that's so the SDK, it's actually live now. We have a Hustle dev chat of like 40 people in there that are communicating with various ways on how to use it. Obviously, we have a partnership with a few different teams as well that we've talked with, and it's really kind of the early stages. The whole point of the SDK is this. What we've come to realize is that running AI infrastructure is very expensive, it's very intricate, and it changes very fast. And the majority of these teams and protocols are going to have an AI strategy at some point. I think we did see earlier this year this oh shit moment by a lot of teams saying we need to have an AI strategy, right? We saw like Magic Eden announce they were going to have an AI companion, and then they deleted the tweet. We see OpenSea now has an AI companion that they're developing. I suspect Uniswap and all these other ones to have one. And then also the small teams are going to need to have something. And so what we've realized is, because we could support any chain, what we want to do is to build Agent Hustle as a single endpoint, which it is a single endpoint right now. And you can plug it into your protocol, whether you're on Solana, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever. And you get everything that you see on the Agent Hustle site is what you get. But you can actually apply your own APIs on top of it, or your own tooling, or your own multi-agent system, which we've had conversations with some people about doing. For us, it's, you white label it. It's a little bit tough to abstract the hustle personality away. So there will always be a little bit of the hustle personality within what all these teams integrate it with. But for us, it's, proliferating that idea, empowering users, and allowing them to have an AI strategy without having to set up this whole gigantic system that is really complicated and is always ever changing. And so, it's empowering because we don't want just the large protocols to come in and have market capture. We want the little builders to be able to come in as well. And the one thing that I've learned is the smaller teams are a little bit more nimble, and they're a little bit more open, and they're a little bit more accepting of working with teams. Whereas a lot of these other larger companies, at least from what I'm seeing, are trying to build their own system internally. And I think for some, to have a large treasury is probably right. But for others, it's probably easier to use Agent Hustle and just call it a day.
Yeah, man, 100%. I agree. I want to jump over to Migrate That Fund. So you guys are going to doing your first cohort. I'm curious what that's looking like so far, and do you guys have a potential ETA for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we actually just had another team announce this morning, Kodo. So I think that makes them number 9. We did have one team, Stickman, bail on us because Pump Fund gave them rewards. So kind of cool that Pump Fund
pushing the envelope there.
Yeah, I mean, for what it tells us is that all of these other teams are on their heels watching. Meteor has come out, the co-founder, and said that he's against migrations. I don't know why you would ever say that, because now you're just basically telling us you don't want to work with us, and you're eliminating the opportunity for teams to come to your system. So I think terrible decision on that part, but everyone has their own opinion, feels threatened in some way. But what this tells us is that Pump Fund's watching and seeing teams that are migrating. And so because Stickman was launched on PumpSwap, Pump Fund has the ability to add fees. They can't do this to the old pools where they were working with Radium. So they came in and awarded Stickman their CTO rewards. And so it put pressure on them, which is always a net benefit to the creators, because now these launch pads, they have to listen to their creators and they have to offer incentives and rewards or requests to what they need. So we have 9 that have announced. I think there's probably around 15 or so that are confirmed. So we're letting them go through their own announcements in their own way. And then we have a co-marketing strategy that I will be launching maybe towards like the middle of August. We do have our audit that is starting on August 18th. So once the audit is complete, we're working with Halborn, who is one of the top Solana auditing firms. They do audits for the Solana Foundation on Solana Layer 1. We also have worked with them in the past on the Emblem Vault side of things, so familiar. First, these audits are not cheap at all. These things are crazy, dude. I need to get in the auditing business auditing business and exchange listing, dude. It is just like immediate 6 figures every single time. It is crazy. And so we want everyone to feel secure. This is also a request from Radium and Bonk as well to get the audit. So we have the Emblem SDKs been audited already. We had that earlier this year. So this is now for the Migrate Fund platform specifically. And once that's done, we'll probably spend a few days onboarding all of the teams to the Migrate Fund platform, making sure that everything is set up properly. There's so many random nuances and requests. All these teams have different kind of things. So it'll spend a few days getting that all set up. And then we'll launch it all together, the Great Migration. And all the teams will be launching together. The end dates may be different, but you can assume the majority of it will go throughout September. And the whole idea is a mass attention event to get people to look at this idea of migrations. And hey, if you're a team that's interested in it, then you could come and use the platform. From there, you know, we'll review once that's done and see, you know, what's next. Is it building migrations to other platforms? Is it an exclusive partnership? Is it expanding to different chains? And also we have a ton of teams who have reached out saying that they're waiting for this first migration wave to take place to then make a decision. We've had some pretty large teams reach out, upwards of $250 million in market cap, who are interested in migrating, but they kind of want to see what or how it goes. And also for some of these teams, exchanges are involved. So we're trying to build a system for these teams that want to migrate but have exchange listings, to try to make that process as seamless as possible. There's like 3 or 4 teams that have exchange listings that are kind of going through that right now. So that's also part of the delay.
Would you just create a separate kind of experience for like the exchanges to kind of do their separate migration maybe?
Yeah, I would say so. From the exchange point of view, I don't want to give away too much of the kind of information because it's still being worked out. But generally, it's this idea of like swapping the old token for the new token, and then figuring out like what's the timeline for pausing, when's the right time to resume, right, and kind of that stuff. Because these exchanges have tons of tokens, literally. Yeah. One project we're working with said that the exchanges have upwards of 70% of all the tokens.
Wow.
So, you know, if you get 70% of tokens to migrate, you're basically able to recover, for the majority of cases, 90 to 95% of the SOL there. So that it's a different process of getting the users to come in and to migrate. You just are now working pretty much directly with the exchanges on that part. So I'm glad we're setting these up now, because whoever says that they could go build this platform, I wish they would try, because there is a ton of nuance to this. And we've had over 100 conversations with different teams, and there's not one situation that is the same, but it becomes rewarding and self-fulfilling. And kind of one final note here is that I'm glad we chose this idea of migrating as a group, because a lot of the teams that are migrating are now building community internally. And we're starting to see a lot of crossover between between like Hustle and IQ 6900, Project 89, the Radar team, Kitty. Like there's a bunch of people who are coming in from the trading side and buying up these migrated tokens with this idea that migrations are bullish. And so therefore, if migrations are bullish, there's going to be new interest in the token. So therefore, there's going to be a value accrual, over the medium to long term. And so that's from the trading strategy. And then from the community side, we're seeing a handful of people from the Hustle community coming in and supporting these migrators because they just want to welcome them to the Hustle community. And then on the other side, the group chat that I have with all of the confirmed migrations, I see the teams communicating and figuring out different strategies for migrations, but also post-migration on how to build and different ideas. And there's a real community formation that's happening here. So I don't think that this is just like a one-off situation. I think this is something that continues on.
Yeah, love it. And like the migration for exchanges, like, and this isn't something new, right? I mean, Sonic recently did it. It used to be Phantom. I think EOS recently did a full migration as well. So this is something that's, exchanges have been doing for a long time. It isn't something that they're gonna be like, oh no, it's gonna be something they gotta figure it out, have somebody help them with it, and go forward. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, the exchanges actually have migration processes set in place already,
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
sure.
nice. So when you talk to somebody who's gone through migration, right, the steps is manual. And now talking with them saying, hey, this is like the automated version. A lot of them are like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that this could be automated, because it's also been a painful experience for that, right? The previous way of migrations is doing snapshots and manual airdrops and building claim portals. It's just like, it's a complete pain in the ass. And so being able to automate this away is good for everybody. It's going to take a lot of business development to get everyone on board and adoption. And obviously there's going to be more, I guess you would say, naysayers or fudsters or people who are against the idea for whatever reason. But yeah, we have no intention to stop here, because what we know we're doing is empowering creators with the option to migrate their liquidity to another situation that best treats them the way that they want to be treated.
Yeah, gotcha. I have a couple more questions if you have the time. You have time?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
here.
cool. So, I guess my next question would be, the ETA. Are we still thinking this is going to happen this month in August?
I can't claim, or I can't put a definite date, because it all comes down to the audit. The audits are generally about 2 weeks. Sometimes they're a little bit before. Sometimes they take a little bit longer. It really all just comes down to that. And also the like 5 or 6 teams that still have yet to migrate or have yet to announce. A few of these teams are also still going through the exchange kind of process. So we're kind of waiting on that, because 2 or 3 of these teams are quite large and have a lot of exchange listings. And, it would be a net benefit to everybody to make sure to have these teams participating in this migration, because they also bring a lot of attention. And so, yeah, kind of twofold, working out the exchange stuff with these teams, and then however long the audit takes. But
Yeah.
the goal is, once the audit's complete, to have everything up and running and live within a week.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with audits, right? That's the same thing that the guys from Arch are dealing with, right? Audits and then pushback and stuff like that. So I definitely hear that. And my next question is, you said before that this the Migrate That Fund benefits Hustle. I think I got the concept, but if you could explain it one last time for the people who maybe are new to Hustle or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we went on this experiment of this idea of 1 token, 2 platforms. And what I mean by that is, the narrative was first kind of initially set it up. The reason why Migrate Fund was set up was to migrate Tensor to Hustle, right? As this kind of rebranding and transformation. So it was the first one through the door. So we felt like, hey, Migrate Fund is the home of Hustle. And then we found out that there's hundreds of teams who also are interested in this type of product. So we said, instead of creating a new token, why don't we just use the Hustle token for the platform itself? And what we'd realized is that we as a team, we could not find one instance where there was 1 token for 2 apps. Like, there's literally not one that I can think of. So we're kind of setting the trend here, which I think could do quite well. And I put this tweet out today of a meme of a Trojan horse where the front of the Trojan horse is Migrate Fund, but inside of the Trojan horse is Agent Hustle.
Yeah.
And so kind of we're attacking at it in a, I guess you would say, a new fashion from attention, right? Because we don't have VCs, because we don't have the ear of a lot of these like insider circles, we have to go about bringing attention to Agent Hustle in some way. And so because Migrate Fund is somewhat controversial, then we're aware that people are going to be talking about it. And so if you make the token Hustle, right, then people are going to say, hey, what's this token? And then when they look up the token, it leads them to Agent Hustle. And then they're going to be like, well, what the hell is this? And then they realize there's this crazy AI that's allowing people to do all kinds of wild transactions on chain as an onboarding mechanism. But then from the tokenomics standpoint, we charge 3.75% of the total liquidity migrated per migration. This costs 6 figures to build this whole thing. And within the first group, if all teams are confirmed, there's somewhere between $50 and $60 million in liquidity, right? So 3.5% on that, or 3.75% on that, can be a quite large revenue generator for the initial event. So what we said is we'll take a portion of the revenue and we will buy back the Hustle token, right? Because no one's going to buy your token if you won't even buy your token. Obviously, buybacks are also popular, but I think it shows confidence to the user base that, hey, we believe in ourselves and we will take a portion of this revenue and we will buy back the token. But the cool part here is that we can then take the Hustle tokens and then use it as incentive on the Agent Hustle platform. So for example, I'm buying back, right? Let's say we have $200,000 to buy back the token at a 2%, or if it's at a $20 million market cap, then that's 1% of the token supply. I can now take these $200,000 in tokens and do a trading competition on Agent Hustle, or engagement rewards, or a staking program, right? Or XYZ thing. And so, also on Agent Hustle itself, once the platform is much more profitable from the platform fees, from B2B services, we plan to do buybacks with the Agent Hustle token as well. And then we have some internal, really unique and innovative ideas on how to build an inter-economy within the Agent Hustle platform using the Agent Hustle token. That's probably still months away, or maybe even next year. These kind of systems that we have, I don't think will do well until we have over 1,000 daily active users. So once we get there, then we can start unleashing some of this. And then you can also, with Migrate Fund, you could do some unique ideas in terms of having migrators, for one example, right? You could do something like having a staking program where you can have people staking Hustle and maybe they get a portion of the token supply of migrated teams, right? Like you can do all kinds of crossover opportunities here. If you look at it as Migrate Fund is the attention vehicle and Agent Hustle is the AI or intelligent vehicle.
How cool would that be? I stake Hustle and then I get, 6,900, all those other coins, right? Wrapped in like a little piece of each. That would be so cool. Because I don't
you could do it.
Hustle, set it and forget it.
we have the technology. Obviously, we launched Founder Vaults with Time Lock Vaults. So we have the technology for staking already. So it's, intermingling all three of these technologies. And this is why we're a cross-chain application business, because we've been doing this for a while. And we know how to blend all of this together. The thing is, like the thing is on Solana, the majority of people have a very short attention span. And so if you're not doing something every week, then they think, it's all over. But we're going to try to change the game. We want to position Hustle in the Solana economy as one of the top infrastructure tokens. We want it to be among the ranks of the Caminos and the Rays and the Jitos and the Jupiters, right? And the Pumps, right? You want to be there among them. We do not want it to be classified as a meme coin. It's here with utility. But with that, we have to participate in some of the top tokenomic programs that exist on Solana. The number one of that being buybacks, right? Will we be able to do the same amount of buybacks that Pump and Jupiter and Array can do? No. But what we will be able to do is early on use revenues from Migrate Fund for buybacks. And then once Hustle's popular, do buybacks with the Hustle economy. And then you want to apply kind of crossover tokenomics ideas. So, you know, this could be something that takes a month. It could be something that takes a year to get to. But for Emblem Vault, we've been here since 2016 and we continue to grow forward. And yeah, there's going to be no stopping this train at some point soon. And so we look forward to partnering with everyone through Migrate Fund, through Agent Hustle. We love all of our community members who are helping us grow and helping us kind of proliferate the idea of using AI to interact with the on-chain economy, because it is still a new idea. And to the 1,040 users who have used Agent Hustle V3, like, you're literally on the frontier. You're literally at the beginning of a gigantic transformational opportunity of what's going to happen to crypto UX. And I think a lot of the major companies are aware of this, and so they're trying to build out their own. And obviously, we have competitors in the space, but I think it's positive sum right now because all of the agents can all interact with each other. We can integrate Banker. I was looking at their APIs the other day. We can integrate Banker to where with their APIs you could get a wallet with all the wallet address for all the Twitter accounts, and so we integrate Banker into Agent Hustle, and now you can send SOL to any Twitter account, right? So like, there's all these crossover opportunities that hasn't really existed, and we're going to explore all of them.
Absolutely love it, man. So bullish on Hustle. So bullish when you guys are building for sure. I have one last question, and this is kind of a OnChain Revolution question. So we're thinking about doing something, and I'd love to get your advice on this. So I'm going to put something in a private chat. Please don't say this out loud. So we found something that no one has made a meme coin about, and it has insane Bitcoin lore, right? So if you take a look at that, do you think it's a good idea or it's a terrible idea for OnChain Revolution to do a front-facing meme coin on Solana, on Bonk.fun, and potentially use this lore, create a website for it, create a Twitter account for it, and even maybe put it behind me, right? And just kind of really push this thing, earn the creator fees. We have no intention to dump these tokens at all. We're going to potentially put $1,000 up in the beginning. Whatever we get, that'll just be there forever, and potentially maybe even send somebody, the originator of this idea, maybe send him some coins as well. But like, what do you think about this? Should we or should not we do this front facing?
Should not we?
Should not we?
As long as you're transparent, I would say to shoot for it. So just speaking about about OnChain Revolution specifically, you got to find ways to expand your community, right? You've grown from DeFi discussions to Ordinal Revolution to now OnChain Revolution, right? So it's showing your intention to be multi-chain. What's the best way to get to be multi-chain, right? Is to have a token in a new ecosystem. It's a pretty good statement, as well as you're still offering, an origin to the show, which is like the Bitcoin community. With this, you obviously have to be prepared that once you launch a token, it's tied to you forever, for good, for better, and for worse. There will always be people who are upset about it. So you just have to be able to prepare for it. But if you see it as a growth strategy, then I would shoot for it. If there's no, maliciousness to it, and there is an opportunity to, reach a new audience through this, maybe it helps out a lot of your community members who are early or whatever it is. As long as you do it in a transparent way, I'd say go for it.
Yeah. Do you like the lore? Do you think it's good enough?
Yeah, I would say it's solid. Bitcoin lore is always going to be important.
Do you think it's tough to do to get that into the Solana ecosystem though?
Yeah, I would say just so from my experience so far, right, there's so many coins that are launching. Doing it on Bonk Fund is probably a good opportunity there, right? It's new, the people over there are hungry. But then there's a lot of exploration. Like Pump Fund is kind of saturated in its culture already, like it's ossified. I mean, they're going to expand into different speculative markets from what I hear, but the community is kind of surrounded with just memes for the most part. And with Bonk, it's a meme coin community, but most of the teams that are migrating are actually tech companies, right? So there's going to be some sort of ICM market over there, I believe. But also they're also supporting their ecosystem. And you have Bonk Guy, who's big on Bitcoin meme coin, so maybe it shows him some attention.
He is.
But
he posted about that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, give it a try. Like, people love Bitcoin lore. Bitcoin culture has been exported over to other chains way before Emblem had even started. So you're just continuing in the tradition that exists already.
Yeah, no one's used this though. That's the crazy part of it. And
Isn't
I
that
think
wild that nobody used this at all? That's crazy.
I don't think many people know about the story though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. I was not familiar with this one either, actually.
Look it up though; it's really interesting because there's a guy who's
Huh.
famous, right? I don't want to give any more away, but he actually said something about this guy too. So, but yeah, so yeah, we're going to do it, and that's kind of the goal too, right? We want to bring some of the Solana community over to our show. I think Jeff gave us the advice of potentially doing it live. The whole launch, do the whole launch. I mean, you can't get more transparent than me sitting here typing the buttons in and then pressing start, right? And then showing the screen as I press the start button. And then, obviously that wallet will never sell those coins. I mean, I have no intention of ever selling what we get that. And the only reason we do that is just like you said, no one's going to believe in you unless you believe in yourself. So we definitely have to have a piece of that. And who knows, maybe we can give this person some coins one day as well. So that's just kind of the idea. But yeah, we got your blessing with it. You cool with it? You like it?
I would say I mean, I'm pro experimentation as long as you can, as long as you have the ability to withstand the consistent stress, is consistent, kind of community pressure that's put on you always. Like, it definitely, going through the experience of launching a token will definitely, it'll definitely make you numb inside. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, it definitely rips away some of the emotions, but you have to be. And I know meme coins are fun, but from you explaining it, I just see it as a growth strategy for OnChain Revolution to then expand into the Solana ecosystem. Obviously, it could go terribly wrong as well, but you never know till you try. And if you're transparent
worst
about
case
it,
scenario with this?
I would say there's like some sort
straight
of
to jail. No, I'm just kidding.
the worst is like it dumps immediately, or there's some sort of like sniping event that happens that rips
so that's the problem of doing it live though, is that like if you do it live, then there's anticipation for it. But if this is something that's going to be serious, we're going to continually plan it out, and we're going to do it the best way possible so that we can avoid that. Because I'm gonna be honest, man, I've been in the Solana trenches more than Shizzy has, and like that is one part I absolutely hate about like these tokens that launched, getting sniped, getting farmed. I mean, a cancer token was farmed, for goodness sake, last week. Like it was to raise money for, as Susan G. Komen, because the bags narrative is going towards fundraising, which is absolutely nuts, but it works a little bit. Anyways, they were farmed the crap out of it. Didn't let it get to $1 million, but at the end of the day, they raised 50 grand for Susan G. Komen, and that's what's their excuse. They get the excuse of doing that now. They're like, transaction fees is all that matters. So, the best case scenario I think for a launch is to do it to a point. There was one token launch yesterday called Rave. I was baffled. I don't know how it got through Pump Fund with the 0 bundles. It had like maybe top 10% or top 10 holders had like 5% or less, and it was brand new. And I was like, if we do it, we got to try to copy that somehow. However we do it, we could do it with Bonk. We got to copy that to where the distribution is not sniped in the beginning and stuff like that. So
it's tough, man. Just be prepared for social warfare. Like on Ethereum and Bitcoin, people like to debate about the technicals. On Solana, people do not debate about the technicals at all. It's all about the debate of attention. And they will go through getting that attention in various means, whether it's being dishonest or whether it's being, I guess you would say, blunt, or, whether it's in some sort of game theoretic opportunity. Like the attention is the focus, but it comes through various forms. So you just got to be prepared for it, have a little bit of a tough skin, and honestly go through the experience. There's nothing better than being able to find or being able to discover something about yourself because you're going through the experience. And that's something that I just generally apply for all the different endeavors that I do. Yeah.
It'll make you stronger for sure.
And we have a show 5 days a week, 2 hours, 10 hours live. I'm willing to go live as much as possible. I think we'd be really good at because I got this idea from the Daily Bone podcast. They have a Solana collection called like the Dogados or something.
Bodagos.
And the Bodog, yeah, and they push them every
Bodagos,
day,
yeah.
right? I mean, we could, I would put it behind me. I would have, that thing behind me and stuff. So I don't really care. And at the end of the day, like we get nothing from it but the creator fees, right? I mean, that's really it. It's all we want. But the main goal, I guess, would be just to get some people Solana paying attention. I mean, we love our Bitcoin community, but we want to grow. We want to be the biggest podcast in crypto right before it gets crazy, right before that. So we're trying to figure out ideas now to try to expand, because we've been so niched for so long, and we love our community, we love them, but we also want them to grow and see opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with expansion. From my own personal growth, and I was explaining this in our Agent Hustle Telegram yesterday, growing your account and growing your, I guess, influence or growing your leadership, you always have to be able to evolve. So for me, right, the way that I grew my account was that I started with the Mooncat community. That's kind of where I found my expertise. And I grew my account from 1,000 followers to 10,000 by just continuing to post content about it. And then when Mooncats eventually blew up and people were attracted to it, the main crowd's going to focus on the founding team, the founding account, and who are the main educators of the ecosystem. And I was one of those people, or if not the top one. And then after that, to go from 10,000 to 30,000 was joining Emblem, expanding into the Bitcoin community from a technical level, right? And then now recently to go from 30,000 to, I think it's at like 36 or 37,000, was expanding into the Solana community. But expanding into the Solana community is now through Agent Hustle. So that gets into the AI kind of community. And then Migrate Fund, which kind of gets into like the meme coin community. So you always have to be able to expand. And if you're not willing to take any risk, then you're never going to, and you're going to stagnate. And so, whether it's launching a coin, launching a new business line, or whatever it is, I say go for it as long as you're doing it in a transparent way. It can't hurt. Just always be prepared for, I guess you would say, social reactions in ways that you don't expect. But it'll make you a tougher person on the other side, and it'll bring more attention to whatever you're doing.
Yeah. We've been through some we've been through some stuff already, actually, from the Bitcoin ecosystem when it was hot. So is yeah. And that's one thing, like Shizzy and I, like one thing you'll get from us is like we like to, cut up and have as much fun as possible, but like our transparency is key for our show. Like we try to be as transparent as possible. So that will definitely be the case if we do move forward from this. But it's funny because all the builders say yes, but some of the Bitcoin community people are not saying yes as much. But that's not who would probably partake into this token as much anyway. So
yeah. And I'm thinking Sunday night, August 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
You're just inviting the snipers.
I know.
I'm ready.
Inviting the snipers. What's funny is when we launched the Hustle token, we had done it a different way than what everybody else is going to be doing. We launched the LP pool to start, right, so that you could do this redemption trading. And turns out there was a lot of the KOLs, like top traders and stuff, who were watching this. And immediately when we deployed the LP, it only had 4% of supply. You see this like initial candle go from 0 to 10 million because there was people literally waiting for this Hustle token to be deployed. But immediately you see this gigantic sell-off because they realized it wasn't the bonding curve supply, right? It wasn't 80% of the token supply in the bonding curve. It was only 4% in the liquidity pool. So they all ended up losing money. This makes the chart look a little bit ugly, but it just shows me that there's always people watching in these trenches for these different tokens, and they're building bots and different things for it. So if you announce a time, it is definitely going to be inviting some snipers.
So you're saying don't do it live then?
I would say don't do it live, but also, do not give the name of what the token's going to be either. Obviously, you said it has to do with Bitcoin, so that still like that. They won't know. That could narrow it down. I don't think they'll know what this is, to be honest, but it does have kind of meme vibes, which is related to some other kind of themes. So just be wary. Yeah, just be
Yeah.
wary. People will snipe.
Yeah, we will make sure that we're very, very careful and meticulous on how we do this because, yeah, I actually thought Shizzy was joking just now when he said the date and time. I was hoping he was being sarcastic or joking there, but yeah, because it does invite all of those expert cheaters.
See, that's
If
why I
there's
need
money-
you guys.
if there-
I don't
if
really
there's-
know much.
If there's money to be made, the Solana trenches will literally siphon every last penny if they can. Like the average hold time, I think for like a Solana trader is like 60 seconds. So it's quite bad.
60
Yeah.
seconds?
You sure you want to get involved with this? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, do you think it'll bring new communities
Yeah.
to us? Do you think it will bring
if it does
it'll bring
well,
new viewers?
It will. Yeah. I mean, Adam talks about this a lot. And it's 100% true, right? Number go up technology is best marketing. We saw this with Hustle. I've seen this plenty of times over and over, but the price goes up. All of a sudden it attracts all of these new traders, all of this new interest. And what it does then is it gets all of these new people coming in and talking in your community, whether it's like whether they're coming in and actually trying to figure out about the product or about the meme or whatever. But then you expect, 80, 90% of these people are going to leave. But then it does leave this like new wave of community members who are there. And as long as you're communicating with them and massaging them into the community, they'll stay. So I was talking about this the other day on Twitter, but what I've been doing over the last week since Hustle went from 1 million to 40 million and then back down to 10, I think it's at like 15 now, is I'm just working on talking with all of these new people in the chat and being able to build relationships, because now you've been able to, double or triple your community. And these people who come in this wave are essentially going to be your biggest advocates, because now they have an entry point, whether they're above water or below water, depending on when they got in. And so they're going to start working for your bags as well. But you want to be able to have a direct line of communication with these people so that they feel welcome to the community. And then the OGs of the community are then communicating with the new Gs, and you can kind of build this together so that price can then go up. And then you go through the same cycle again over and over. And you could do this with this meme coin as well.
Amazing. And let's just say runes are blowing up, going nuts, so much liquidity. Could we use something like migrate that fund to potentially migrate this from Solana to a rune?
Yeah, it'd be interesting actually to do it the other way.
We'd be the first ones. That could be some lore.
Yeah, it would probably have to be somewhat of a manual process to start. I mean, I know I've talked with DotSwap bunch of times, good guys. They have APIs for us for the agent hustle side of things, so I could talk with them about the migrate fund side of things on.
I think it would have to be like a very hyped home base, though. I mean, whether that's
liquidity high.
It would be interesting. So basically, how it would work is like, since you're doing it on Bonk Fund, right? We have that integrated already, so you would have all the people commit the tokens. It would sell. Then you would get Solana. We would have to have the rune created already, right? Or etched. We would then have to swap the Solana for Bitcoin. And then we would take the new rune and the Bitcoin and then LP it into a DotSwap liquidity pool.
Or Arch. Or
Arch or kind of
Odin.
Or Odin. Yeah, whichever one. I guess it's kind of to be determined. From what I see, DotSwap seems to be the winner here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
at least from a technical provider, right? Because Magic Eden's now using them.
Yeah.
So we could choose any of these to see, and you could do it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking too. That's some lore there as well with the first rune to migrate from Solana. I mean, I think that goes.
Well, that would be a good option if it like stalled.
That's what I'm thinking.
So like if this token hit, like, let's say it hits like $10 million, and then it's like really good for a couple months, but like you're active, we're active, I'm active, we're active about it, and then there's a moment in time where it just feels like it connects more with the Bitcoin side, then that could happen. But obviously, you just want to have success, I think, like with the first swing at it, right? And how things go, though.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have migrations available, right? Because it gives you choices. It would be interesting to take a Bitcoin meme coin that's on Solana and then migrate it over to runes, because then it also fits in like the lore of some of the other Bitcoin meme coins, and you also have this history. I mean, what we've learned through like all of our migrations is that you will you still, even though you migrate the token, you still bring over the history of it, and it becomes almost like folklore or like a myth, because the new people who come in after you've migrated, all they see is the new chart. And so you have all the OGs who are basically explaining to the new Gs like what the history of it is, because the majority of people are not going to go back and look through all the histories. They're just going to be told, and they're going to accept whatever it is from the OGs. And so you could carry that over. And the fresh chart, dude, it's probably the most underestimated aspect of the migration, is that people have no idea that it's a migrated token, and they just see it as something new. So yeah, that would be cool to explore. It's always good to have the option. So it probably actually becomes a little bit more intriguing to your guys' community and to the Runes community of, hey, this doesn't work out well, we can just bring it over to Runes and run it up there.
If it does work out well, we get $1 million in liquidity. That's potentially number one on DotSwap, right? So
yeah, yeah, exactly.
You could just be confident and cocky and say, hey, this is at $100 million market cap, but we're bringing it to Runes anyways. No, it's good. But anyways,
well, like I said, Runes would have to take the next step up for that to even be conversation, and you guys would have to be ready as well. But this has been absolutely amazing, Jake. Thank you, man. An hour and a half, we've been live for 3 hours, hour and a half with Jake. I really hope you guys appreciate it. We'd love to give you a couple more words at the end here. Last words.
Short and simple. Just use Agent Hustle, agenthustle.ai, buy the Hustle token, join the movement.
Love it. Love it, Jake. Appreciate you, sir. Excited for the future of Hustle, Migrate.fund, Emblem. And I think you guys are going to have a surprise for everybody towards the end of the year, too. Yep. So excited for what you guys have coming, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, have a safe weekend, guys. See you soon.
You too. Take it easy.
Well, absolutely awesome, as always. Absolutely amazing. I really hope you guys appreciate that time and the alpha that was dropped during that as well. I don't know. We got some talking to do.
I'm in now. I'm like, I was always in, but like, I feel like I'm in now. Like, we're going to do this shit. We're going to blow it out the park. But
let's
also,
go,
what else is blowing out the park is Ethereum has crossed over $4,000. 40,000. 35, but it's maintaining above $4,000. So this is big because we want to maintain and stay above 4,000. And in fact, I'm watching this to see if it crosses over to 4,100 and hit over that resistance point of $40,080. But yeah, now you got me all excited. Like that was the third serious builder in the space that told us, hey, do this. And being a digital marketer, I know that, launching a token does help bring, attention to your project, your company, whatever. I'll tell you one thing for sure is transparency is 1,000% what you will get with this if we do this. And we are going to do it, it seems. But we're going to plan it out meticulously. And I swear you Jeets are never going to know exactly how we do it and when we do it, because we are trying to keep you guys away from it.
I want to do it live.
Well, we got to figure out how to do things to where it's not your typical, I want it not bundled, and all
do we
these
put
things.
it out, let it die, and then tell everyone it's ours?
Well, let's kind of keep the strategy within the conference room and not here.
Ideas, right?
Not here for them to.
We do got 1,167 people watching right now, so you guys are all in the alpha.
Yeah. But I did want to
do everything transparent. We do. Yeah. We're going to do our best to do it transparently without getting sniped. So we're going to be fighting this the entire time. But we want you guys to know we have our best intentions to run this thing to $1 billion. That's
best intentions, and one thing you will not get from us, meaning that you will get from us, is an everyday show up to work, put our boots on, and this now rolls into our everyday part of our job, right? So people try to get rid of us in the beginning because we were competition when we only had maybe 10 viewers. They shouldn't have cared about us back then, but it didn't matter because we kept pushing forward till we got 25,000 subs on YouTube, and we're gonna keep pushing forward because you guys are the reason why we do this every single day, and we appreciate it. But yeah, I think that wraps up the show, man. I know you're trying to wrap things up and head back home. You're wrapping things up on your vacation, and you guys are getting ready for the weekend. So we thank you guys, all 1,200 of you guys that tuned in today. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate Jake. Want to give him a shout out again from Emblem Vault.
Real quick. Yeah, guys, just so you guys know, Yago did an amazing job. I was on vacation this week. I barely did anything. I showed up at 11, left at 1. Yago handled everything. You guys don't understand how much work it is for to do a show like this every single day, and not to mention we're our partners. So Yago, I just wanted to thank you so much for holding it down.
Yeah,
Wow,
appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. And it makes me appreciate you even more because that's kind of what you do in the mornings and the previous day is getting ready for the show. But all you guys, man, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Thank you guys for doing this or for showing up, showing this support for us, but also our partners, just like Emblem Vault, man. Without them, we also couldn't do this. So if you guys could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to swap for a Bitcoin runes or alkanes, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because you will earn Amber points and they're going to find you the most liquid and cheapest tokens around in the Bitcoin ecosystem. The Amber points are going to be going towards, they are an XP system that goes towards give backs to early adopters. So they won't be around forever, but you can acquire them right now. And then if you connect your wallet for the first time, you get 1,000 Amber points, and that's going to go away as well. I think they're going to probably scale that down first, and then eventually they'll get rid of the Amber points altogether. So make sure you're taking advantage of that because you can put 2 and 2 together. That will be going towards giving back to you guys, the early adopters. SatsTerminal.com. Check it out and join their community as well. And then Emblem Vault, we just talked on that, talked to Jake and about their team for an hour and a half just now, but let's hit on them real quick. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to do vault your Bitcoin ordinals, your counterparty NFTs, and you can take them to Ethereum. Right now, you can take your Taproot Wizard to Ethereum and take a loan out against it on the Gandhi application, which is the largest lending and borrowing platform on Ethereum. They're going to open up to more collections as well. And also they're going to open up to more chains. So you're going to be able to do this on Base, Arbitrum, Abstract, Merlin, possibly Solana as well. And speaking of Solana, they have their #1 AI product, in my opinion, in the entire space in AI Agent Hustle. You can use Hustle right now to guide you through the trenches of Solana. You can ask questions like, hey, Hustle, give me 2 to 4 great 2 to 5x options for the Solana ecosystem that are safe plays. He will bring back some options for you and give you reasons why he believes they're safe plays. Also, you can do conditional trading with Hustle, meaning you can go to the gym while Hustle is trying to set up a limit buy or sell order for you. Example, Hustle, buy Fartcoin when it drops back 20% and sell it when it gets to 100%, take profit for me. And then you can go out and do your thing. Hustle will take care of all that for you. And there's going to be more in the future too. They're trying to bring the EVM tech stack, the Bitcoin tech stack, all these tech stacks to Hustle. In my opinion, Hustle is going to be the #1 AI tool in all of crypto, guys. Also, they're going to have SDK, meaning that once you get the SDK and it goes around to other builders, you're talking about Uniswap level. So that is what they're shooting for. But also, Migrate.fund is a product within Hustle that allows you to be able to migrate your token from, let's say, Pump Fund to Bonk because you are tired of your LP being locked up and you guys not being able to benefit it from the LP from a builder perspective. It's going to be really simple. They are wrapping up their first cohort in terms of getting all the confirmations done. So look for more information on this towards the end of this month. But if you are a builder, it's a really simple process. Shizzy and I both were able to migrate our Tensor to Hustle. I'm telling you, it's so easy for your communities to do it. Check it out, migrate.fund. And lastly, they have an Bitcoin Rune TGE that's coming up on block 915,000 on the Bitcoin blockchain. And once that block comes around, you're going to be able to open up these NFTs, by the way, that you can get on OpenSea. If you go to OpenSea and you search Emblem Founder Vaults, you can get a pre-sale of this TGE if you buy that NFT. But once that block number comes around, those vaults will open up and you'll get your Bitcoin runes in a Bitcoin wallet in your vault. Really exciting stuff the way they did this. Emblem.vision is the website to check out all that information I just went over. And then Artura.finance is the perps and levers DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for synthetic fungible Bitcoin tokens, you can do so there in the near future. You're going to be able to swap for Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, Ordi Sats, etc., in terms of Bitcoin tokens. Also, they're going to be integrating traditional TradFi synthetic tokens for you guys to trade, like MicroStrategy and Coinbase. Exciting stuff. It's going to be unique to their platform, so you're going to have to go there to trade these type of tokens. Also, you're going to have the regular, tokens that are outside the ecosystem that are traditional, like ETH, Tau, XRP, and of course, Bitcoin will be tradable. But you can earn XP points by utilizing their platform. It's also going to be going towards an early give back to their early adopters, and you can double dip because they're going to be tracking the Botanics activity as well, as they are live right now on Botanics, the Spider Chain Bitcoin Layer 2. Make sure you're taking advantage. Go to artura.finance to learn more today. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to stake on Bitcoin Layer 1, you got to do that Fluid. Fluid has staking vaults for staking alkanes to earn more alkanes, staking runes to earn alkanes, staking alkanes to earn runes. They do it all. They are wizard devs for a reason, is why I call them that. They know what to do in the UTXO environments. They started on Cardano, and they're still building there, but also they're dominating on Bitcoin. On the Cardano side, you can participate in the Aquarium platform by adding white labeled tokens that replaces ADA for gas. So you don't have to use ADA for gas on Cardano anymore. You can use Fluid, and there's a couple other tokens I believe that you can use. Head over there and provide the liquidity, and then you can earn from the Babel fees, the trading fees that people use your liquidity to get in and out of transactions with using for gas there. Also, you can set up recurring payments on the Aquarium platform if you pay your devs in ADA or any other approved tokens for recurring scheduled payments. Head over to fluidtokens.com today. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet built for the best UI UX experience for you, the end user. They support Cardano and Bitcoin as well. On the Cardano side, you can trade for Cardano tokens as they partnered with Dex Hunter. On the Bitcoin side, they partner with SAS Terminal, make it possible for you guys to trade for Rune. So you can buy Dog Go to the Moon on the Tokyo Wallet app. Also, if you have an Apple iPhone, you got to download it at the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, download it at the Google Play Store. Once you download it, you'll see an alpha section. You can find our YouTube channel along with Cryptos R Us and a couple other alpha callers there. But if we'd love to hear your feedback, let us know. We'll let the team know. Head over to Tokyo.io today to learn more. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard 0.3 version, and 0.4 is right around the corner. But with 0.3, you can do DeFi functionalities on Merlin Chain, like swap and stake. Also can guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem with any questions involving Merlin Chain. The 0.4 version is going to be a big step up, and it's right around the corner. You're going to be able to do cross-chain swaps. You're going to be able to do cross-chain staking. You're going to be able to ask the wizard, hey, give me the top 5 wallets and the Annie token on Solana. He's going to pull down the top 5 whale wallets on Annie, give you all the information. So look out and use that application because it's free. You can use it right now. Also, if you want to help secure the chain on Merlin Chain, there's 3 staking options. You can stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. There's an average of 16% APR that you earn by staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. That is locked up until September 30th, so just know that. And then 2 options with the Merlin Chain token. The first one's the flexible options, the day-to-day. You claim your rewards daily. You can do that and then create compound interest by restaking that. But if you do withdraw on the day-to-day, there is a 7-day cool-off period standard procedure that they have there, so don't freak out. Also, the second option with Merlin Chain is the bonded options, the 6-month staking option. You earn 45% APR, and you can also claim your rewards daily and do a compound interest staking there. Merlin Chain is killing it with their branding. They are getting listed on all these exchanges. They were on Kraken a month ago. The top Korean exchanges. Expect more Japanese exchanges to come, probably more US exchanges. These guys are crushing it, Jeff and his team. So check out merlinchain.io to learn more. And lastly, our last partner to go over today is ordinalhive.io, which is an aggregator ordinal marketplace. You're going to find the cheapest ordinals around at Ordinal Hive. And if you sell your ordinal on Ordinal Hive, you'll get your liquidity right away. You don't have to wait 10, 15, 50-minute blocks, all that stuff. Forget about it. It's really quick liquidity availability, and their team has made that possible. Also, really cool trading tools there. You can, have a P&L right on your dashboard. You can earn points for future give back as well. Right now, as they just launched not long ago, head over to ordinalhive.io to learn more. And thank you guys so much for putting up with that at the end and the show, 3 hours. You guys are awesome. Still 1,100 people in here. Love you guys.
Yep, 100%. And if you're a team out there and you'd like to join our partner program, we do have a spot opening up in September. So if you guys are interested in that, please reach out to us. You can contact at onchainrevolution.io. You can find that information on the site as well. We're putting it up there. If you are interested, if you know someone interested, I mean, we got 1,000 people in here on a Friday showcasing Emerald Vault today. If you would like that opportunity, please reach out to us. We do have one spot opening for somebody who is interested. So please reach out. But if you guys haven't had some time and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, we have some of the most amazing articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering this place, please send them our website. It really helped them get started and caught up to where we are today, week by week, guys. All you got to do is go back one at a time, and that'll actually get you completely caught up, because that's usually the story of that week. And really, that's all you really need to know. You got to know what's happening this week, and then a couple stories from the past. So definitely check those articles out. And if you guys need a VPN, VPNs are really important. There is free ones out there, but if you want an amazing one, like the one at NordVPN, the one that I use every single day, guys, get Nord, because it's $3 a month. Lock it in for 2 years like I did. Set it, forget it, done with it. And what that does is, if there's a website that geo-blocks you, it stops it, right? You can put yourself to Italy or Spain or wherever you want in the world that doesn't get geo-blocked, and you can use that site. It is not your country stopping you. It is the website. Screw that. The US is becoming crypto friendly, so there's no reason to be worried about that anymore. Be on any site DApp that you want and use your NordVPN to do that for you. Like I said, $3 a month. Use our link. Lock it in for 2 years. If you do lock it in for 3 months, after that 3-month period, you love it. Like I know you will. You're going to go back to it. They're going to charge you $10 because you already used that promotion. But lock it in for 2 years, you get that price for $3. So it's like $66 for 2 years. Definitely check that out if you're interested. And we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. Check all that out at onchainrevolution.io. And I think Yagui has ETH pumping right now.
Yeah, ETH is at $4,048, but I actually saw possibly Kraken accidentally leaking out the Magic Internet Money spot listing, but we can so I don't see it officially on there. Maybe they deleted that, but
the price is up though.
Yeah, but anyways, that's we know that's coming anyway, so
yeah. Yep. But thanks, guys. I'll be back at my desk next week. Again, I will be live this Sunday at 8 p.m. We will have a members video out Sunday morning, so definitely check that out if you are a member.
That's going to be a big one.
Serious big alpha. Make sure you guys, if you are members, make sure you watch the Sunday morning. We're really going to hash out exactly what we're doing, and would love to get your feedback on it as well, and how this can help, our community as well, our already built community. So shout out to you guys, man. Check out that video on Sunday morning, and then check out the live stream Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I won't be launching that, but we can talk about it. If you guys have some questions or some ideas, put it in the chat Sunday night. It's going to be a freestyle. There's going to be no, I'm just going to be checking prices because of the weekly close and everything. It's going to be fun time. Check that out. And remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until Sunday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.